Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, gamblers, gangsters, hustlers, money getters. Welcome to the Tailgate, where business is business and we get you that show. Week 11 already, guys. 4 weeks left to go. 4 weeks. You blink your eyes and this is over. Playoff picture is finally starting to take frame. We're starting to get an idea, although we know things are going to change. We got Georgia, Ole Miss going today. We got Alabama, LSU going today. You got, Indiana playing Michigan today. Who knows? Maybe Michigan finally has a big game and stands up. We'll see. But like I said, starting to take frame finally with that playoff picture. Things are getting excited. We're getting close to the end. And I tell you what, if you've been tuned into the Tailgate on Pub Sports Radio, we've been getting you paid. I say it every week to start. But you're hanging right here with us. Lions, Tigers, Bears. We're bringing it, bringing the heat week in and week out. And we don't have any time to sit here with any more formalities. I do want to say two things real quick, though. Shout out to my guy, Jose, for getting the graphics every week. I send him 30-plus games. He puts the graphics in there before the show. Couldn't do it without you, Jose, so thank you. And most importantly, you guys here in the chat, man. My guy, Smokey Potts, coming in early. Pipe Layer, Gerald Jones, Nunya, Dale, NJ Striker. There's my dude right there. Good to see you, NJ. Ricky Bobby, Nunya. We got to get you back up here, Nunya. Andrew G. Stacks coming in. And as you know, Stacks was with us last week. He'll be back up here with us again today. So shout out to my guy, Justin. Gravy Bats, good to see you in the chat. Gravy Kong coming back up here to unload the clip today. You know how we do things here at the Tailgate. So let's stop wasting time and let's start getting these guys on. They start the show with me every week. Here's my guy. If you haven't tuned into the Moose Dive yet, you're missing out. The Moose Drive is electric. It's got great information, whether or not you want to tail his bets or not. It's analysis that you need brought right to you for free. All you got to do is send your email to my guy Moose right here with me every week. Moose Money Bets. What up, Moose?
What's going on, Tabby? If anybody is interested in that, just go ahead and drop your email in the comment section. I can add it to the dive that I got. I do have 7 games from today, just to kind of go right off the top. I do have Miami, Georgia Tech, Georgia, Ole Miss, Minnesota, Rutgers, Clemson, Virginia Tech, Colorado, Texas Tech, Alabama, LSU, Washington, Penn State, and BYU, Utah. So if you are interested in any of those games and you want to get the full-on dive, the deep dive edition, go ahead and put your email in the comment, and I will add it to the dive.
It's that easy. All you do is give him your email, and he puts you on. You get the information. It's free. I highly recommend it. I look at it myself. But let's keep this thing moving. We get our guy up here to start this with us every week, Moose. And then we got another guy that's been dropping bombs, just killing it this season. ROI over 10% on the full season. You can see him on Betting with the Bag. You can see him on Who Bangin' Sports. And you can see him right here every Saturday on the Tailgate. My guy, Wine Time Sports. What up, Wine Time?
Yes, sir. What up, boys? Good to be here with you guys on a Saturday, man. We've been doing this every single week. We've been going strong, man. It's my favorite day of the week, man. So I'm looking forward to breaking these college games down with you. We got our other guy coming up next, going to throw out some bombs for us, and then I'm going to go, and then my guy Moose, and I know Kongs is going to unload a clip for everyone. So, shout out to you guys, man. Shout out to you, Cap, for putting this show on as always, man.
There we go, man. I appreciate it. Wine Time. I love doing this with you. I love doing it with you. I love doing it with Moose. You guys in the chat, I see my dude Man Bear Pig rolling in. He said it's 7 a.m. He got the crusties out of his eyes and he got his ass up because it's time to make some money, Man Bear Pig. Good to see you in here. Cheshire Cat rolling in. Good to see you too, my guy. I'm ready to get paid. And you said it. This next guy that I'm going to bring on, he's only missed the show once or twice, but he's been here pretty much starting us every week. He calls himself the Ricky Henderson of the show, and I can't disagree. Maybe give him like an Ichiro or something. Either way, he leads off and he kills it for us every single week here on the Tailgate. One of my favorite college football cappers. He's a great capper and everything, but when it comes to college football, easily one of my favorite. My dude, Gunz Picks.
I'm back, baby. I'm back. And I call myself the Juan Pierre of this broadcast. I open it up and I clean the clock. We're on an 11-2 run on the college football plays. And if you watched the show last night, I gave you rice. And guess what? You cashed a ticket. Let's get this started. Daby, Wine Time, Moose. I'm ready for a little bit of college football. Let's go.
Boys, I got 10 bets today, and I don't know, anybody who pays attention knows that for some people, that's like a normal Saturday. They're like, oh, yeah, cool. I got 10 bets every Saturday. Some people are like, that's nothing. For me, 10 bets is a lot. I got a lot of action. I got a lot of money on the line today. Today's a big day. Good news is I'm fucking going 10-0. I hate to break you guys' Ole Miss hearts. But you guys are going to win all your other bets. I'm sure of that. I'm going 10-0 today. I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say. Gunz, I know you send me your bets before you come up here.
Yep.
But I always got to ask. I'm sorry because I got.
It's all right. I know how to start this off. Let's go with a little bit of a noontime action on this one. I love the nitty gritty. I love the crumbs, and I love the Sun Belt. And I'm going to go Texas State versus UL Monroe at Malone Stadium, Monroe, Louisiana. 12 p.m. is the kick. And you got Texas State coming off back-to-back losses, 4-4 in the year, plus 10-point differential, plus 98 net yard average. Did not expect this team to be at 4-4 at this point. But we have UNLM back-to-back road losses, 5-1 after starting the year 5-1, but now they're 5-3, minus 2-point differential, minus 62 net yard average. And what does UNLM want to do? They want to run the ball. 5th in rush play percentage, 4.6 yards per carry, 177 rushing yards per game this season. But check out the last 4 games for ULM. 5.3 yards per carry, 208 rushing yards per game. So this team is stepping up at the right time and putting up some yardage on the ground game. And they're going against a Texas State team that struggles stopping the run. In the last 5 games, they've given up over 5 yards per carry in 4 out of those 5 games. And then you got to look at Texas State. Their offense is good, very balanced. I'll give them that. 405 yards of total offense per game and 265 through the air. They also have a 68.9% pass completion rate, but they're going against a ULM team that has a great defense. 4th in opposing pass completion percentage, 29th in passing yards per play, 16th in opposing pass yards per game. That is going to be the dynamic in this game. Can Texas State pass against this good ULM pass defense? And ULM's just dominated at home this year. When you see them at home, you need to take ULM. Why? Because they're 4-0 straight up in ATS at home with a plus 15-point differential, plus 8 net yard average. And then Texas State has only had 2 true road games this season, and they're 1-1 straight up in ATS in those positions. Also, I love revenge games, and I'm taking advantage of one here. ULM lost to Texas State 21-20 last year on the road. They were 17.5-point road dogs here. Now you're seeing them as 7.5, 8.5-point dogs at home. Line functionality included in the cap. I like ULM because they play well at home, and they're going against a Texas State team that, well, is a falling knife, and they don't really play that well on the road. Then you got the revenge angle, the line functionality, all boxes checked. Give me ULM plus 8.5 as the play.
Beautiful. Got early 12 o'clock action brought right to you guys. Look, we're only 8 minutes in the show. We already got 4 of us on screen. We've already done formalities, shouted out the chat, like my guy Gorjon jumping in there. He said he's got Colorado and BYU money line, along with the LSU money line. Shout out to you, Gorjon. But we're already in it. ULM plus, is it plus 8.5? Is that what you got?
Plus 8.5, yep.
Beautiful. So you get the actual line that's still available right there. I love it. Wine Times. Any thoughts on this one here?
Not a lot of thoughts to say about this game, honestly. Not a game I look too much at. I definitely like his breakdown and everything he just said, though. Under kind of looks a little intriguing. Low scoring game in this one, so nothing for me in this one. I'll make it short and sweet.
Gotcha. Moose, what about you? And that's cool.
I think Gunz is on the right side here. The algorithm that I kind of look at does have this as a 1-point game for Texas State. One of the issues for Texas State is kind of their ability or their inability to kind of run the ball effectively. They are 57th in success rate on the ground, and they are 96th in EPA per rush. Those would be things that ULM would struggle with because they have struggled against the run this year, but against the pass, they've been very good. So if you're trying to be offensively running into the strength of the opponent's defense, especially when they're at home, the only side I would be able to look at here would be ULM. So I'll just be rooting for Gunz on this, but no play for me.
Yeah, we saw that on a bigger scale yesterday, talking about strengths, and I slipped up when we broke it down. I said the wrong thing about UCLA's defense. I'm dyslexic, and sometimes I do. You had Iowa trying to run the ball, run defense, and I said it wasn't a good run defense. Good news is Wine Time corrected me right afterwards, so it was no worries. But kind of the same situation. You don't want to be taking what you're doing offensively into the teeth of the defense if it's the defense's specialty. I get it completely. UL Monroe here, early action. Young Native Tino, good to see you in the chat, man. He said good morning, Coach. J-Ro, nice to see you in here, man. Everybody, if you can, hit that like button, share the video, get it out there. It's early. We're already up over 100 people, which is nice, but let's keep it pushing. I want to hit that 250 mark today. Only way we do it is if you guys share it, because it's all up to you guys. Thank you. But let's keep it rolling, Gunz. You already got us on the board.
Let's go. Let's go.
Monroe.
Yeah, let's go into a little bit of non-conference action. Let's go a little Mountain West versus the Pac-12 here in Riser Stadium in Corvallis, Oregon. You used to be a scary place to play. Not so much anymore since Jonathan Smith, the head coach, left to go to Michigan State. But I digress. We have a game here, folks, with San Jose State going against Oregon State here. Oregon State off 3 straight losses. They're coming off a bye. They're 4-3 on the year with a -2 point differential, plus 17 net yard average. But they're going against a San Jose State team off a road loss to Fresno State and a bye themselves. They're 5-3 on the year with a +3 point differential, plus 46 net yard average on the year. As San Jose State's strength is in the last 5 games is their offense, which is putting up 443 yards of total offense, 5.3 yards per carry on the ground, and 320 yards passing in the air. This team is cooking offensively. Oregon State's defense has given up 6.6 yards per carry on the ground. And 210 passing yards per game, and has also, if you want to check out a good passing team like San Jose State is, when they play good passing teams, they do give up a lot of passing yards, and I'm referring to Oregon State here. 306 yards passing given up to Oregon, 263 passing yards given up to Colorado State, 364 passing yards given up in their previous game versus Cal. These teams did meet last year. Oregon State dominated San Jose State 42-17. San Jose State was a 16.5-point road home dog in that situation. And now they're a short dog on the road. A high indicator that this is going to be a San Jose spot here. Also, look at San Jose State, 5-2-1 ATS as an away dog, 6-2 ATS versus non-conference opponents. San Jose State should be ready for this one. You got the line functionality. You have the revenge angle from 2003 to now. I'm sorry, 2023 to now. I just woke up, folks. Give me a break. Give San Jose State +3.5 as the play.
Hey, killing it though. And I love it because, like you said, at home as a 16.5-point dog last year. Now you're going on the road to a place that, like you said, Corvallis is supposed to be a tough place to play. It's supposed to be one of those places you don't want to go. This ain't that Oregon State team this year. You know, they don't get the push up front. They don't dominate the trenches like they have in the past. Moose, thoughts on this one?
This is weird data points for me. If you look at Oregon State on defense, they rank 100th or worse in EPA rush, EPA drop back, echo rate, points off of echo, field position, run rate over expected, and early downs EPA. I mean, Oregon State defense has been really bad, and the San Jose State defense has been almost equally as bad. So I really don't know who I would trust here. And one of the things that is kind of interesting to me is Oregon State wants to be able to run the ball. That is one of the things they have done somewhat well this year. They do rank 13th in offensive success rate, 74th, though, in EPA per rush. But we just talked about ULM and Texas State, kind of the offense running right into the strength of the defense. The run defense is actually pretty decent for San Jose State. They rank 52nd in EPA per rush, and against the defensive success rate, they do rank 83rd, which isn't great. But it was just kind of all over with my data points. With all the things that skewed towards San Jose State, the algorithm that I kind of look at and I use, the collegefootballinsiders.com, shout out Stats Award Parker Fleming, had this as an 11-point win for Oregon State. And I don't see that. So I just stayed off completely. But weird data points on this one for me.
Gotcha. Wine time. What about you? Thoughts here?
Yeah, this is a tough game here. I like these under the radar games that Gunz always likes to bring to our attention here, man. These are the spots that sometimes hit because you have these good angles on these games. Definitely leaning towards the San Jose State side. After listening to Gunz's breakdown, I'm looking at the market right now, man. They're loving Oregon State. He touched on it, man. This used to be a crazy place to play with Jonathan Smith. Now the team's kind of, they're coming off a huge blowout loss last week. This team's not that good, honestly. I can definitely see San Jose State going in there and winning this game outright. Give me the +3 in here. I'm not going to make it official, but I definitely I have a lean to that.
Beautiful. We keep it rolling here. 15 minutes into the show only. Already up over 120 people. Thank you guys again, man. I saw my guy Big Show. Anybody good at the Big Show thing? I'm terrible at it. I'll do it if not.
Well,
it's the Big Show.
Well, it's a big show.
There we go.
But it depends on.
That was a good one right there. Let's go.
But doesn't it depend on which version of Big Show it is? Is it heel version of Big Show when he has the slower music, or
No, it's the one. It's the babyface one. The babyface one is the best one.
I don't know if you guys know this, but our Big Show here, like our guy Big Show, he's dropped some LBs. I call him the Little Show nowadays. But shout Yeah, shout out to my big show shout out to the big show who's not so big anymore. And also shout out to FanDuel, DraftKings. We've got some new friends here at Pub Sports Radio with some legal books. Big show. I was trying my hardest to figure that link out. If you can drop that link in the chat for everyone where they can find it, all you got to do is click that link, guys. It'll take you to where you can find any legal books, and use it. Get the free money. Use the offers. Get the promo for Pub Sports Radio. I do it. I mean, if I'm going to gamble, I might as well get free money, right? Mm-hmm. Anyways, we keep it rolling. We keep it moving. Gunz, 2 games down. And Gunz sent me 4 today. He doesn't just have 3.
I got 2 more. I got 2 more coming. And I have one that I have not given out on a show. And I have one that nobody even knows about. I've never talked about it. And I'll get to that one last. I'm going to make you guys wait because I want to talk a little bit about the game of the week, in my opinion. Georgia going against Ole Miss in Von Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi. In the Grove. It is going to be hopping there with a lot of bow ties and bad haircuts. We have Ole Miss 7-2 on the year, back-to-back conference wins. They have a plus 29 point differential, plus 239 net yard average going against a UGA team that is 7-1 on the year and have won 4 straight. They have a plus 16 point differential, plus 136 net yard average on the year. Ole Miss, what do they want to do? They want to pass the ball. They're an air raid offense, 6th in pass completion percentage, 2nd in passing yards per play, 3rd in pass yards per game, and they're going against a UGA defense that has shown vulnerability in the passing game. This is not your father's bulldog defense here, folks. 111th in opposing pass play percentage, 53rd in opposing pass yards per game, 51st in opposing red zone scoring percentage. And UGA, what do? They're a pass-oriented offense as well. 21st in pass play percentage, 25th in offensive passing completion percentage, 13th in passing yards per game. But they have turnover issues, especially with Carson Beck. I think he's thrown more interceptions than he has touchdowns this year. He's 113th in INT thrown percentage, and they're 86th in turnover margin. Then you got to look at the defense for Ole Miss. This Ole Miss defense for Lane Kiffin really improved, especially against the run. 1st in opposing rush yards per carry, 1st in opposing rush yards per game, but, middle of the road in the passing game, but they have a tremendous pass rush for this Ole Miss defense. They have an 11.73% sack rate, which is ranked 2nd in the country. So look for Carson Beck to be frantic in the backfield today. As much as I want to take the full game, and if anyone tells me they're on Ole Miss full game, I can give it to them. However, I'm going to take this in a split because, chicanery happens in college football, and Kirby Smart is a good coach, and they adjust well in the second half. First half, second half looks, though. Ole Miss, 2nd in the country in first half, outscoring opponents 24-8 on average. That is a plus 16.6 point differential. Then you got UGA. They're ranked 13th in the country in first half, outscoring opponents 12-7 in the first half with a plus 5.3 point differential. However, look at UGA on the road in the first half this year. They are outscored 9-10 in the first half. That is a minus 1 point differential. So UGA, like I said, I've said it consistently all year, and I've been taking advantage of this. UGA is a slow starting team. When they play a high pace, fast, get them going like they did with Alabama, like they do with in Ole Miss in this situation, you're dealing with a team that comes out and puts their foot on the gas pedal early, and then we'll see what happens in the second half. So look for Ole Miss here. First half, I got it plus 105. That was the best line I had. It might be juiced in other books, but I'm going to take this one. Ole Miss, money line, plus 105, first half as the play.
Now, I can't disagree with what Steve G said here and what Gunz said. Georgia is a bad first half team, great second half team. That is Kirby Smart right there. That is coaching adjustments. That's changing your game plan based on what the other team
that's Kirby Smart going in the locker room screaming the fear of God into his players when they suck in the first half, and it just works every time.
I also think it's a little bit of Georgia playing to their opponents, I think is what we see. Because, week in and week out, we've been so confused by this Georgia team, right? Like last week, what the hell were they doing against a 3rd string quarterback in Florida trying to lose that football game, right? Alabama in the first half, we go down 20-0. Clemson, a game where they blew Clemson out. It's only 6-0 at halftime. They're barely winning. This, and this goes back to last season also. Kentucky is another example. They had to drive at the end of that game to take Kentucky down. Georgia's not a great first half team. I agree with that. I personally am on the other side, but I am on the other side full game. I know Weinstein and Moose are both on this too. We're going to go ahead and hit this game. I'm going to let both my guys hit it, and then we got one more from Gunz. We might come back to it, but I want to hear their thoughts. I'll just say this. I don't like Lane Kiffin. I never really have. I like him when I'm betting against a shitty school and I need Ole Miss to put up 60 points. That's when I like Lane Kiffin. I don't necessarily like him against Kirby Smart personally. And for me, this is still a spot where it's like Georgia has still only lost to Alabama with all this mishaps, all these wrong steps, all these things that they've done, right? All the reasons why you guys are on Ole Miss. And I get it. And I say you guys because I know all three of you are, and a lot of the chat also. But they've still only lost to Alabama. It's still Kirby Smart. It's still Georgia. They still have the talent. They still have the roster. They still have the ability. I got the dogs at -2.5. You can obviously get it at a better line right now, which means I like it even more. It don't scare me one bit. Georgia all the way for me. Let me hear Wine Time try and talk me off, even though it ain't going to work. What's your thoughts, Wine Time?
Yeah, I know we already got our bets placed in this one, so I ain't talking no one off nothing, man. We just got to watch them play the game now, man. This is gonna be a great game, man. I talked about it with Moose earlier in the week, man. And the market agrees with me too. I'm only seeing 16% of the bets, 11% of the money on it, and the line is moving towards Ole Miss in a lot of these ways. I have so many reasons to back Ole Miss in this spot. I could only really find one reason to back Georgia in this spot, and that would be solely Kirby Smart, who I would back in this spot. Which is a perfectly great angle. I mean, he's probably the best coach this era in the last 10 years, him and Saban, you know what I mean? But Saban's not around anymore. So, but yeah, Carson Beck, man, he's been a turnover machine, man. Don't get me wrong. Going to the season, he was one of those highly touted prospects coming into the year. He's like a top 5 NFL quarterback coming into this year. He probably still is, honestly, on a lot of draft boards. Honestly, I haven't been keeping too much attention to that. But the guy's a turnover machine, man. Jackson Dart, on the other hand, man, this guy's been playing some big-time ball, especially last week against a very hostile environment at Arkansas, against a very good defense. We've been talking about that defense for weeks now. They finally just collapsed. They faced a good offense, and Ole Miss could show you what they can do when they're hitting at all cylinders, man. Dart on those deep balls, man. Those were NFL-type throws, man. I mean, if he plays like that every single game, he is the number 1 overall pick in this draft coming out of this class. He's the best player in college football if he plays like that every single week. It's a bigger test, though, in Georgia, man. This is just a bigger dog, man. I mean, I do like that they're playing at Ole Miss. I mean, we saw what happened between these two teams last year. Georgia blew the doors off them in Georgia, 52-17. Ole Miss didn't have the athletes last year to compete with them. They went to the portal. They got some guys. Look at this defense, man. When have we ever talked about a Lane Kiffin defense being elite? This is one of the best defenses in the nation. That's the strong point about this. And if this Ole Miss team offense is hitting the way they were against Arkansas, there's not a team in the country that can most likely beat these guys. Ole Miss is 2 plays away from being undefeated in this ultimately. And both their 2 losses, crushing losses, man. 3-point score games that they very well should and could have won. They didn't. They need this game more than anything right now. Everything's on the line here for Ole Miss. Give me Ole Miss in a hostile environment. As long as Dart plays the way he did last week, man. If he plays the way he did last week, like I said, there's no one that could beat this team.
Moose, let me hear more.
All right, so let me go ahead and get some of these Georgia trends out of the way. Georgia is 11-1 straight up, 8-4 ATS in this matchup, but this really isn't a consistently played game. Georgia in their road finales the last 13 years is undefeated and 11-2 ATS. But here's where it kind of spins up a little bit. This year, Kirby Smart in conference is 1-5 ATS. I can't remember a Georgia team that in the SEC has been 1-5, really under 500 ATS at all. And Trey Harris is likely back. I believe he is expected back today, and that is going to be huge. I wasn't really sure that he was going to be coming back earlier in the week. A lot of what my cap came down to was the quarterback play. And if you're going to have Jackson Dart versus Carson Beck.
Carson Picks is better. That's going to be his gambling Twitter eventually.
Right. I'm going to take Jackson Dart over Carson Picks. I mean, that's just the way it's going to work. The weakness of Georgia is their secondary. Their secondary has been very inconsistent. I mean, when you see a team like Mississippi State throw over 300 yards, Mississippi State threw for over 300 yards against Georgia, even Texas in
Mississippi State's quarterback is a baller.
Oh, they have good offense. They can throw. They're high-paced offense.
300 yards for Mississippi State in the game where Georgia's expected to dominate. And against Texas, same thing. They were expected to dominate, and they kind of gave up almost 300 yards. I will concede that those are passing offenses that can pass, But if you are looking at some of the Georgia defenses that have been there in the past, those games didn't happen like at all. You wouldn't sniff 300. And now we're starting to see some of those games creep up around 300 and go over 300. One thing I really would be concerned about here is if I see Quavo start the game off introing with Georgia, I'm going to immediately have to start betting the other side, because when that Texas game started and you saw Quavo come on and basically run a Georgia promo, it was like, oh shit, I think this broadcast might be a little Georgia heavy. That'd be concerning to me, just joking. But I am on Ole Miss here. I did go full game, but I kind of like what Gunz said. I had to decide between first half full game, and I went full game just because this game's going to need Ole Miss needs this game way more. Georgia does have Tennessee on deck, and Ole Miss, this is their last chance to make a statement and win out. If they win here, they can make a case. If they lose, done.
All right, you guys heard it. A lot of glazing on Ole Miss right here from these guys. But I'm going to say it one more time. Man, just let the fucking dogs eat, baby. Let the dogs eat.
It seems like most of your chat wants Georgia. I want to answer this question by Jerry Jones. He said Georgia blew out Clemson, Texas in the first half. I was like, it's 6-0 the first half in the Clemson game. Is that a blowout? I don't know. Maybe if it was soccer. But then if Texas in the first half, you have to understand the situation for Texas. They hadn't played anybody up to that point. And then that was the first game coming into that game, playing a Georgia team that had blood in the back of their throat. So, yeah, that was going to be one of those games that was the only game that they actually led in the first half in conference. I mean, I think that was the only cover that they had, because they didn't cover against in the Clemson game when they had the lead. So take that with a grain of salt, and then you go check out what this team does on the road in the first half as well. But you want me to go to the next play, or should we do it right now? So here's the play. This is one that I wrote up this morning, so I've not talked about this on any single show. This is exclusive on the Pub Sports with Daby Cab, college football edition. It is Georgia State and JMU, Bridgeport Stadium, Harrisburg, Virginia. Beautiful campus out there, right off the highway. 3:30 p.m. East is the kick. And we have a Georgia State team off a 5-game losing streak. Do you realize they're on the 4th leg of a long road trip? They're 2-6 on the year with a -8-point differential, -27 net yard average. And then you have a JMU team that's coming in well-rested, well-prepared, off a bye week and a win over Southern Miss. They're 6-2 on the year with a +17-point differential, +81 net yard average. Georgia State not having a great year at all. They only have one FBS win, and that was against Vandy of all teams, which is alarming. They have not won a single FBS game except for that one. They're 95th in offensive scoring, 105th in opposing scoring. Their defense is ranked 110th in opponent yards per play, 117th in opposing third down conversion percentage. And then you have a Georgia State team that's pass oriented. They're 16th in the country in pass play percentage, 17th in passing attempts, and 45th in passing yards per game. But they're going against a JMU team that has a good pass defense, ranked 6th in opposing pass completion percentage, 54th in opposing pass yards per game, and they are ball hawkers in the INT department. They're 3rd in INT thrown percentage to their opponents, and they're 26th in QB sack percentage. JMU defense is ranked number 1 in the country in opponent turnover margin and takeaways. So this is a team that will get a lot of turnovers in this game against a JMU team that, if you look at their INT thrown percentage, on the lower end of the spectrum in the country. Situationally, this is a bad spot for Georgia State. 4th road game in a row, no bye, and they've just been getting crushed left game after game. And they're going against a JMU team that's at home, rested for this type of situation. Last year, these two teams met. JMU beat them 42-14, 6-point road favorites, and now you're seeing them favored here at home 14.5. 14.5, 15.5, depending on what books you get it at. So that is good line functionality from road to home splits year 1 to year 2. Georgia State has only covered once this year, and guess what game that was? Their win over Vandy. So this is not a team you're going to be taking here, especially when this is the second highest dog spread that Georgia State has seen all year. JMU is going to stomp this team by margin in the 4th leg of a road trip that they are gassed, beat up, bruised against a JMU team that is well rested. Give me JMU -14.5 as the play.
I love it, man. And I love James Madison's team total. Shout out to Jose. That's something I've bet several times this year. Just cashed it left and right. I would maybe look at JMU's team total here. Hey, 3 a.m. in the chat. Couldn't disagree with all of us because I'm on the other side. You disagree with these 3 guys. I'm on the other side. I'm on Georgia here. So shout out to you, man. And shout out to all you guys in the chat rolling in. If you're out there listening to the show but not putting anything in the chat, don't be shy. We don't bite. I mean, unless I don't like what you say. No, I'm just kidding. Come in the chat. Let's see what's going on, man. We got over 140, almost 150 people rocking with us already. We're growing quickly. Come in, say what's up. Let us know what you're betting. Gunz, I got ULM plus 8.5, San Jose State plus 3, Ole Miss first half. What was that? Plus 1.5?
Money line plus 105.
Oh, first half money line. Okay, plus 105. Beautiful. And then JMU, you're going to lay it with JMU.
Yep.
Which I like that one. Just beautiful, Gunz. Thanks, man, for coming and killing it.
Yeah.
Where can everybody find you? And can you tell them, I mean, you've been red hot, not only all year, but especially this week. Where can everybody find you to make sure they're getting all this Gunz Picks action?
Yeah, I'm on an 11-2 run this week in week 11. I've just been hitting all these Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday games. Like, it's easy. I'm up 11 units this week, 11 units. And you can go get all my plays right now. I got a big card here on Saturday on Dub Club. You can check that out. 25% off deal if you sign up now. I think it costs you $10 to get my week. It's cheap as hell. It's Netflix. You can go pay for that now. And I dropped more plays today. I had another 5 plays that I added to my card today. I have a huge card. This is where I unload the clip. With the last 4 weeks of the season or the last 5-6 weeks of the season, when you have all the data, this is where I start hammering the board. And this is why you need to go join my Dub Club. It has write-ups and everything. But you can go check me out on my show Saturday mornings with Gunz Picks, baby, where I have special guests and I go up and down the board, top 25, and I talk about plays, leans, and everything in between. So go check that out on the Gunz Picks channel, 11 a.m. East. Go pop into the chat, say hi, asking me, hey, what do you think about the over in this game? I have my opinions. I have looked at this board exhaustingly all week, and I have an opinion on every single play. But thank you, Daby. Thank you, Moose. Thank you, Wine Time. Let's cash some tickets today, boys. Let's dominate the board. And as always, let's keep dancing. Bang!
Hell yeah, man. Shout out to our guy, Gunz Picks, coming in, bringing the energy every week, week in and week out, bringing you guys winning bets, good energy, good vibes, all of it, man. Real quick, take a second because we're just now, getting rolling 30 minutes in, but we got a lot of people on deck ready to rock. If you can, go to Pub Sports Radio on X, hit that retweet button down there. It helps us spread the message to the show. It helps us get us out there. And, like I keep saying, we hit 250. I'm going to find a way to do a giveaway to you guys in the chat. And I know we can do it. We're already over 150 today, so it's not that far. Peter, good to see you, my guy in the chat. Tori Coker, glad you're in here. Georgia Tech plus 11. Miami's defense has too many holes. I didn't even know Miami had a defense, so I guess I'll agree with that. Jerry Jones in the chat, sell your team. They suck. Even your quarterback thinks so. But thank you for tuning into the show. Appreciate you, Jerry Jones. And let's keep it rolling. I don't like cutting off Wine Time when he's got to go at the end of the show. So I'm going to let Wine Time go ahead and touch on his bets pretty quick. He says it every week. A lot of these breakdowns are already on Pub Sports Radio. They've got individual videos for them. So make sure and go check those out also. But Wine Time, what's the first one you want to rehash or bring up for today?
Yeah, let's talk that Georgia Tech Miami game, man. ACC action.
There you go. Right where the chat's at.
Here.
And there we go. Number 4, Miami, with Heisman hopeful Cam Ward going on the road as a 10.5-point favorite to take on Georgia Tech. And like we've already alluded to, 10.5 points is a lot for a defense that's non-existent. I mean, winning the game is not a stretch when you got somebody like Cam Ward. He can win a game anytime, anywhere against anyone. But the defense makes it hard to cover a 10.5. What's your thoughts, One Time?
Yeah, guys. I mean, Cam Ward, man. What can you say about the guy? The guy's he's up there for the Heisman right now. He's potentially going to be a top 10 pick in this year's draft, man. Came to transfer to Miami. Big deal for him coming from Wazoo. They were going to be outside the Power 4 conference. He wanted to make a transfer. Right place to do it, man. He went to a really good situation, a situation where they have weapons absolutely everywhere on this Miami team, up and down. And start with the running back position, man. You got David Martinez, you have Mark Fletcher in the backfield, 2 really good running backs that could most likely start anywhere in the country at any level and play at a high level. We've seen Damian Martinez dominate in the Pac-12. We see Mark Fletcher. This guy's a beast. I mean, he hasn't really gotten too many opportunities, but when he does get the ball, the guy's dangerous with it for sure. We talk about Cam Ward, man. We got Xavier Restrepo, one of the better receivers in college football. Not a lot of people talk about the guy. Guy's route running is absolutely incredible. Guy's fast. He's elite with the ball in his hands, man. The guy's a gamer. He's a baller. He's a winner, man. This team, it's filled with winners out there, man. That's what they do, man. They're not out there trying to cover spreads. They're just trying to see how many points they can put up on you. They want to try to put up 50 to 60 a game. They want to impose their will on offense. They want to see if you can beat them, if you can outscore them. They literally want to play that game. Their defense, they've got a good defensive line. Their secondary is definitely suspect over there. Not something I'm super high on. Haynes King, man, this guy is definitely, he's a game time decision day. I do anticipate he will be playing today. I see the lines moving towards Georgia Tech right now. And looking at the market, I don't know why I can't bring up the market right now. It doesn't give me any ticket count for some reason on this game right now. I don't know why, but if you can bring that up, Moose, let me know. But Georgia Tech, man, I'm guessing that everyone's going to be hammering Miami here because they are the number 4 team in the nation. They have Cam Ward, and Georgia Tech's kind of like, is their quarterback going to play? Haynes King, man, this guy he led the ACC in touchdown passes last year. He's good with the ball in his hands when he's on the ground. This guy can put points on the board, man. Yeah, Georgia Tech likes to run, but I think they can score and they can have some explosive plays against this Miami defense, a defense that a lot of offenses have had explosive plays on. I do think that they can get those explosive plays. Georgia Tech can hold off on their end, get me 20, 24 points in this one. There's no way this game doesn't soar over the total. Miami's going to score 45 to 50 points in this game. They're going to score almost on every single possession. And when they don't, and I just need to hope that Georgia Tech can hold up their end of the bargain. Georgia Tech could score points, man. They could, who knows, they could be step for step every way of the game in this Miami game. They might go touchdown for touchdown. We'll see if they can compete in this one. This is a big game for Miami, man. They got to continue to win out. No slip-ups for them, man. They can't afford a slip-up right now and then a loss in an ACC title game because I don't know what their hopes are going to be because their schedule has been – not a lot of people have talked about it, but their schedule's weak as fuck. Let's just say that. With that being said, give me the over 63.5 minus 110. This hits 70 points at the minimum.
Man, even with the total, I like the over in this one too because, like you said – It's up to Georgia Tech because Miami's going to score. We know that it's up to Georgia Tech, and I don't trust.
And they can't stop anyone.
Yeah,
and this is a good offense. This is a pretty good offense. I mean, Georgia Tech. What are they? 5-4 team, pretty good team. I mean, nothing to write home about. But I mean, Miami almost lost to Cal earlier this year. We saw Cal. They looked good last night. Don't get me wrong, but any team's gonna have slip ups, and they can't afford a slip up here. But Georgia Tech, man, they might be able to go blow for blow with them. We'll see.
What's your thoughts here, Moose? Anything on this one?
This is all about Haynes King. I mean, that's really the entire cap is whether Haynes King plays or not. I'm glad to hear that Wine Time is optimistic on him because a lot of the reports I see are that it's very unlikely he plays, and there is a question on if he's able to play again this season. They're not disclosing what the injury is. That's kind of the interesting part. Is all the discussions with Brent Key is like, hey, what's going on? It's just like, oh, it's upper body, it's upper half. And you haven't seen him in a sling. You haven't seen him, kind of compensating with how he stands. So it's just kind of like, all right, what is going on? Is there a potential throwing injury? Like, is there some kind of torn ligament that is going on there? And I don't know. He's a game time decision, and traditionally game time decisions in college football are very much an unknown. Whereas in NFL, you can kind of get a good feel like, hey, they're in pregame warmups. There's a lot of reporters around. We don't get that information in college football basically at all. And look what I'm seeing. I don't see anything coming in that is telling us whether Haynes King is playing or not. The one indicator would be that one time asked about the tickets, 85% of the bets, 85% of the tickets, 59% of the cash is on Miami, but the line is creeping down. And so you now have Georgia Tech, believe it's right around 10, creeping down to 9.5. I don't see the game really going too well for Georgia Tech. If Haynes King is out, Miami could probably just name their number. Yeah. And I thought the same thing last week, or I thought last week, if King wasn't playing, I'd still have very little concern. But throughout the entire broadcast, like the announcers were just like, oh, Haynes King would have made that run. Haynes King would have been able to get around that corner. Haynes King would have been like okay, so Haynes King is that important. Without all that information, I'm just going to stay off of this one. But I looked at the over and I looked at Georgia Tech. Those would be the only ways I'd look.
There you go. Going to the chat, Joseph Gomez said 78% Georgia Tech, 22% Miami. My dude, good to see you in here, man. Said sorry about the NBA, but he's going to get it back. Man, everybody has bad nights. What matters is what you do after. Everybody has good days also. And guess what? What matters is what you do after. All that ever matters is the next day. So go out there and get it, my dude. Mo Harris, good to see you in here, my guy. Yeah, I think it's 63.5. Thomas, was that the number you got, Wine Time?
63.5. Yeah, correct.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so shout out to you guys. Robert Franklin said he's got Pitt -7. We might hit that game. What's your next one, Wine Time? Let's keep this thing rolling.
Yeah, let's go right to Penn State, man. Washington at Penn State, man. Two teams that I've talked about every single week.
Hell yeah, I love it. Penn State, who I've been saying is the most overrated team in college football.
And they're still 6.
Washington, who's having a very down year this year, but they beat USC, covered for you. That was last week, right? So shout out to them for that. Traveling here, to take on Penn State, number 6, still overrated in my opinion. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, man. This is a big spot here for the Huskies coming into this game, man. Washington, top 3 pass defense in the nation. I think they might even be one. I'm not sure. Moose can probably tell me what number they are exactly, but top 3 pass defense in the nation, playing really well right now on that side of the ball. They brought in Belichick, defensive coordinator, a guy that's been turning this defense completely around for Washington, man. He's doing his job right here. Will Rogers, he's doing his job too. He's getting the ball out pretty quick. He's getting the ball to his playmakers in open space. The guy doesn't hold on to the ball for too long. He doesn't force the ball over too much too. This guy's played a lot of college football in his career. He does. I mean, don't get me wrong. People have turnovers, and when he has turnovers, it's not good. And that's what we needed last week. We needed him to limit on turnovers, and that's what he did. And we need him to limit on turnovers this week against Penn State in a hostile environment. Yeah, I get it. This Penn State team just lost to an Ohio State team, and Penn State was up at one point in the game, and Penn State on paper didn't look like they lost the game too much. They had a pick 6 to score, I think, their only touchdown of the game. I'm not too sure. I forgot what the final score was. But with that being said, man, this Penn State team, they do have don't get me wrong, they've got a good defense over there. They've got some good guys in the backfield. Their quarterback, man, a lot of question marks over there, man. I'm just not a big fan of Aller. I'm not sure if I know they were kind of going back and forth on quarterbacks on who was going to play last week and stuff because Aller was banged up. Looks like Aller's going to be in for this one. And his over-under passing yards is 204.5, man. For some reason, just looking at that, man, makes me want to take the under on it because I don't think this guy's going to throw over 200 passing yards against a very elite Washington secondary, man. These guys are good. And Washington, man, this team, one blowout loss this year. It was to Iowa in Iowa. We talked about that game on with Jose, man. We were on Iowa, and that spot was a clear smash spot for Iowa. That they took care of business. Washington been in pretty much every single game this season. I talk about them every year, guys. I mean, every single week I talk about the same bullshit, flags, red zone trouble, stuff like that. Definitely cleaning up, and they're playing some good football. They had a good come from behind victory against USC here this past weekend. Big win for them and for the program. Going forward, they want to keep winning games. They want to – Jed Fishman, he inherited a program that lost a lot to the NFL draft, a lot to the portal. He brought in a couple of his guys over, but a lot of these guys, were guys he got late, guys that, if he had his chance, he probably could have got some better guys in there if he was with this program in November when a lot of the other guys got hired, like Cincinnati, guys like that. He probably could have gotten his guys. Watch out for this program going forward, man. Washington's going to be a team that's going to be really good, I think, these next couple of years in the Big Ten. They're going to take care of business here today. I got it at the +14. Get the plus, whatever you can get. I think they're going to probably try to win this game outright, +400. Little sprinkle on that, guys. Don't be surprised. I know a lot of people might be surprised. Don't be surprised if they win this game outright. I'm not saying they're going to go unload a clip on the money line, but I'm just saying, this is one of those dogs where I'm looking at and I'm saying, everyone's saying Penn State's going to bounce back. They're going to smash this team at home. I just don't see it from the eye test, if you ask me. So if Washington could do their part on offense and, score 24 points, they're going to win this game most likely. If they can score 14 to 17 points, they're going to cover this spread. With that being said, they're going to do that this game too. The total, 4% of the money on the under right now, and the total's dropping 2 points. What's going on here? We're going to get on the under too, guys. Give me the under. Daby Cab 46.5. Give me Washington, ATS. Give it to me, man. This is love this spot for Washington, man. Muted.
We got 2 bets from our guy Wine Time here. Washington plus the points and the under. Beautiful. Over 180 people here. I keep going back to the chat, man. Shout out to my guy Kelly rolling in. Good to see you in here, Kelly. I know you're smoking good this morning, man. Thank you guys. Still share the like. hit the like, share the video, get people in here. Let's get to that 250 mark today. We can do it. I got stacks on deck. I got Kongs on deck. We got people waiting, so we're going to keep it rolling. But real quick, Moose, did you have any action in this one?
I got to go over one thing here, and I know Wine Time's not going to like to hear this unless you already knew it. This is the whiteout game for Penn State.
Oh,
and
I
Washington
actually did not know that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the whiteout game. And Penn State and whiteout games.
I thought they already had it.
I mean, they could probably be white.
I think they had that against UCLA. It was a different game. It was a stripe out game. I think that this probably is the whiteout game.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the whiteout game, and Penn State in whiteout games has been very good. Yeah. And Washington on the road has really struggled. They should have won the game against Rutgers. They should have won. But if you look at their road games this year, there's been a common theme in their road games, facing big time rushing ground and pound offenses. That's been their opponent in basically all three of their games. And they have done very poorly in the last two. If you remember when they played Iowa, they got run all over.
I remember that.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I look at. And then you look at Indiana. Indiana ran all over them. And Washington has a legit rush defense for the most part, but I do worry about a program that had to kind of build up fast. I know Wine Time, you've talked about this before, a little amount of time that they had going into the season with the late hire and kind of late recruits showing up and not knowing who it was that was really even going to be playing for them. But this is really tough to look at anything other than Penn State. I think the under is absolutely the best call. I just worry that Penn State is going to be able to run the ball effectively here. Washington has allowed 30-plus points in each of two of their three road games, except for the game against Rutgers. And I don't know what we're going to get from the running back duo. This was supposed to be a Nicholas Singleton primary, and Katron Allen was supposed to be a compliment, but it has flipped, and now Allen. Yeah, but the weird thing is that Penn State, they have a huge billboard outside the stadium, and guess who is on that billboard? It is Nicholas Singleton. So I would imagine that they are still going to try to get him the ball some way, shape, or form. And they were using him much more as a passer, but Penn State does not have the luxury of fucking around and find out, because if they lose one more game, they are likely out. Washington has UCLA up on deck. I would say that that's probably the bigger battle in terms of recruiting, but this is a huge win if Washington can somehow pull it out. But this is either Penn State, some way, shape, or form, but the better play for me would be the under, but I couldn't get on it.
There you go. So we got Wine Time on the under. We got Wine Time on Washington. Robert Franklin also liking the under. Shout out to you. Let's keep it rolling. Hey, I know we're at that 45 marker, actually already past it, Wine Time, so I know you probably got to go.
I actually talked about all my games. I'm on Virginia Tech later. I don't have a super big breakdown on that game, honestly, though. I'm sure my guy Moose is going to touch a lot of those points. I read his Moose dive on that as well. So, be on the lookout for that one, guys. I know my guy Cab's on that game as well. So it's going to be an interesting matchup for sure. But, I gave out, I believe, 2 plays in this. I gave out, let's see, the over in the Miami, Georgia Tech, and then I gave out Ole Miss. That's it for me, guys. I had 2 plays yesterday given out, or I guess I had like 6 plays yesterday, but in 2 of the games, so a lot of my action, I don't have as much action today, but we're fine with that. Hopefully we get some wins here, man. Always a blessing to be here with you guys, man, on a Saturday, man. If we're going to do that live stream later, Cab, let me know. I'll join you for sure. Just let me know. I'm going to go join Boston the Sauce right now. Check us out there when you guys are done here. Appreciate you guys as always, man. It's always a good time, man. Shout out to the chat in there. Shout out to Justin and Kong's backstage. I know they're going to get you guys paid as well today, man. Those guys have been on fire, so make sure to stick around for that, guys. Appreciate you guys as always, man.
Hell yeah, Wine Time. Much love, my dude. Get paid today. Everybody make sure and go over to Boston the Sauce with our guy Wine Time, Big Boss, and Ragu, man. Great college football cappers right there. But we're going to keep this one rolling. Moose, I'm going to go ahead and do this a little differently. It makes me uncomfortable when people are backstage, so I hate leaving them back there. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on both of these guys. We'll let Kongs unload his clip first, and then we'll get to the stacks play of the day. But man, I already touched on it. This guy's been killing it. That Kongs just absolutely dominating. He's hit 5 parlays on this show throughout the 11 week, we've only had 10 shows, so he's hit 5 parlays and 10 shows that have been plus 500 or better on the 2-unit parlay. Last week, Army was, was tough with the quarterback being out, but that's gambling. I mean, anybody who's done this long enough, it's going to happen. If it hasn't happened, it sucks. All you can do is, weather the storm and bounce back. And that's exactly what Kongs is about to do right here today. So shout out to our guy, and let's get him up here. Kongs Clips. Kong, what up, my dude? You're on mute. You did. Moose would call it a cabbie. You pulled a cab.
Yeah. I've used that term a lot.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Top of the morning to you. Happy
yeah,
Saturday. Thanks for tuning in. We in this bitch.
There
I'm
you
hyped.
go, man. Ready to get paid. And I already got some texts. I get texts from Kong early, so I know you're ready to rock. You're up, rolling, ready to rock, man. This guy's the same one. You know what? It's not a lot of people don't wake up as early as I do, but I know my guy that I'm about to bring on here does, and I know Kongs does because you guys are texting me about that action. Me and this guy that I'm about to bring on, we're going back and forth about the college basketball and the college football. We got some interesting college basketball news early this morning about that Auburn fight on the plane. That shit is crazy.
What?
Auburn going to take on Houston. And shout out to my guy Stacks. He texted me. He said, "I'm not sure, but I heard something in the streets saying that there was a fight between the Auburn players on the plane." Sure as shit, the Auburn players got in a fight on the way to Houston. So that's interesting information right there. But without further ado, man, you see him day in and day out killing it here on Pub Sports Radio. Let's get our guy up here, Stacks.
Stacks.
Justin, what up, Stacks? What up, my guy?
How you, Daby, Kongs, Moose?
Man,
That's good.
ready to rock. Like I said, you and Kongs hit me up when I'm up early, already capping, trying to get to that bread, man. You guys are up too. I love it. Getting some love from the chat. Our guy Steve G, AOD. Good to see y'all, man. Ready to get paid, Stacks, Kongs. So let's do this damn thing. I think I'll let Kongs. I mean, we can go back and forth, or Kongs can unload his clip. Let's just let Kongs unload his clip, and we'll all kind of hit on it, and then we'll get to the stacks. So I'll have you up first. Lead this thing off, Kongs. What's the first bet you want to talk about?
Let's go to Army. Let's go get this money back from last week.
Hell yeah. Let me find this thing. I know I got it in here. If you want to go ahead and start, you can. Here we go.
Yeah, so shout out to the chat, man. Good morning. It's a money-making Saturday. I'm in the zone today. Woke up on the right side of the bed. A few more units in the bank account from NBA last night. So let's just pile it on, man. Army at North Texas today. Don't have the big breakdown. Got the news about an hour and a half ago. Bryson Daly is available. So we're going to be on Army first quarter -1.5. It's good money. Plus 106 with Bryson Daly in the game. They had scored on every single first drive of the game. So I look for them to do that again. Their defense was still looking good last week. I'm going to be on Army first half -3.5. That's a -104. And we're going to Army full game -5.5. I love the first quarter and first half looks more than I do the full game, just in case something flares up with the foot and he gets pulled out of the game. But I like the full game as well. And also going to be on Bryson Daly 3+ touchdowns at +110.
3+ at, what'd you say, +110?
Yes, sir.
Got you locked in. So you got Army first quarter, you got Army first half, you got full game, and then you got Daly 3+ touchdowns at +110. So already coming in with the goods, hot 4 bets. Shout out to our guy in the chat, MMA Locker Room. He said that's not Stacks, that's Derrick Henry.
Oh shit, I can see that.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I can see it. Moose, you got any thoughts on this one?
This is an interesting line movement. As soon as the line moved up 3.5 points, I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure Daly's playing here. So it's no longer a -3. It's now a 6.5 on the books that I'm looking at.
Gotcha. Good note.
Yeah, the Army has been just an absolute wagon. And Kong has been on that pretty much every single week. The only question is just, this is going to be the best passing offense that Army has faced. Army's coverage has been suspect at times. They did do well last week against Air Force, but I mean, it's Air Force. Air Force doesn't pass the ball. But it's definitely interesting to see how much of a line movement there was, and saying that, one player is worth 3.5 points in football. That's kind of crazy. But I think it's warranted here. Bryson Daly has been an absolute meat wagon back there. And I feel like that's the only side I could be on. The over is very intriguing here, but Army is kind of looking at the rest of their week. They have Notre Dame on deck. So this is the traditional look-ahead spot. But Army is a diligent and a focused group. I don't think they're going to be as susceptible to look-ahead spots, but it does exist here with Notre Dame on deck, because if they somehow, some way get past Notre Dame, you could see them in the playoff discussion. Maybe not make it, but they're at least going to be discussed.
If they beat Notre Dame, they better get in the play. If Army,
I would hope they would.
Yeah, they better get in. Justin, I saw you put something about the over in the chat. You got any thoughts on this one? Did you bet that over, or you just like it?
No, I bet it. Over 63.5. It's at now 65.5, I think. I just see fireworks, however it plays out. I do like Army, but I've been late to the wagon, so I ain't gonna start betting them now. But I just see fireworks, whether the quarterback play or not. North Texas always puts up work, always, and they're at home. Just give me the over. I just want everybody to score.
I get it, man. When you're talking about being late to the wagon, with Indiana and Army, I felt that way all year, and I just watching Kong's cash week in and week out on it. I should have already been on them, and I haven't.
Me too.
Kind of like the Josh Hoover prop. If any of you guys haven't been cashing that with me, but just like Kong's is telling you, you can still get on the wagon. I'm telling you right now, you can still get on the Josh Hoover wagon also. And I am on Josh Hoover today again, of course, no question. Don't worry about the fact that you might have missed the boat. We're still floating just fine. Shout out to my guy Nutflush in the chat, man. He said, I don't care if Army loses because I'm on Army team total over. Shout out to our guy Nutflush in the team total overs. Hopefully we'll have Nutflush up here soon. He said he's gonna make things happen sooner or later. He'll be up here with us, so that's good news, man. John K, good to see you. He said he's liking that team total over also.
Yeah, I like that over. That's a good look. I might end up on that.
There you go. Let's keep this thing
Cab.
on. Yeah.
Just to touch on that, I think Army can beat Notre Dame. Hence why we put the 20-1 Army to make the playoff in a couple weeks back. And also that Notre Dame game is in 2 weeks. So I believe they have the bye week in between.
Yeah.
That's important. That's important. That's a good note right there. You better not be looking ahead with a whole fucking bye week ahead. That's good notes right there, Kong. That's why we do this, man. Information analysis.
Yeah.
Maybe you tail our bets and get paid. Maybe you don't. But either way, if you're here, you're going to learn something. Shout out to my guy, Flea Mathis, man. We're almost there. We're over 200 now. So we're getting close to that 250. Push it, man. I'm counting on you guys in the chat. Noel 207. Good to see you in here. He said any plays for the early games. Our guy Gunz is on ULM at plus 8.5. I'll recap all the bets. We've already had quite a few on here. And if you're new here, it's a lot of bets from a lot of good cappers, so you'll love it. But Kong, let's keep it rolling. What's the next one you want to look at?
Maryland at Oregon.
Maryland at Oregon. And I better have that graphic. I don't know why. I feel like I haven't seen that one yet. Oh, I do got it. There we go. Maryland traveling to take on the #1 team in the nation. The Oregon Ducks, man. 23.5 point favorites here. What are you looking at?
All right. So we do have a couple of these spots today on the board. Washington being another spot. Teams traveling all the way across the country, bro. So Maryland travels 2,819 miles to Oregon today. Maryland is allowing 27.75 points per game overall with a 4-4 record. But when they play better competition, things change dramatically. More specifically, in the Big Ten, Maryland is allowing 36.4 points per game and going 1-4. On the other side of the field, Oregon's defense is allowing 15.7 points per game. Look, this is a big travel spot for the Terrapins, legit flying from the Atlantic coast to the Pacific coast. Oregon names their number here. Best bets, I'm on Oregon. First quarter, -6.5. It's juiced, but they didn't give us the 7.5 at plus money because they know that will cash as well. -140 on the first quarter.
Oh, okay. I was like first. I think you accidentally said first half. First quarter -6.5. I got you.
First quarter, my fault. Yeah.
No, I got you. First quarter
yeah,
minus.
And then and we're touching the first half as well. Oregon first half -13.5, -115. Love that number. How are they not up 21-3 at halftime? And then Oregon full game -23.5. That's a -110 spot. We found out last week Dan Lanning knows the spread. Could have kneeled the ball out last week. Instead, what do? He goes in and gets the cover. Know your coaches, guys. Oregon full game.
Oregon full game right there. Shout out to our guy Thomas in the chat. He dropped BYU, UNLV, Arizona State. As long as that's not UNLV for college basketball, because me and Stacks went back and forth. I am on Memphis again today. If anybody wanted any college basketball action, Memphis -1.5. But our dude Kong's bringing us first quarter -6.5, first half -13.5, full game -23.5 on these Oregon Ducks. Moose, anything here?
No, but I did see in the chat that if Cam Wrong is right, is Maryland really releasing like new uniforms when they travel to Oregon? That's kind of a weird time to do that. You're not going to do that at home. You're going to do that on the road at essentially Nike University. That's a little weird, but beyond that, I got nothing here.
Nike University. I've been to that Nike place in Oregon. It's pretty dope. Stacks, what about you, man? Anything here?
No, I played Oregon, but I ain't late to that party. I've been on Oregon though. So Collins put me on early in the season, so I ain't missed that bus.
There you go. Hey, Knuckles dropped this right here. Miami, he said the Miami scores 53, 36, 52, 39, 38, 50, 62, 50. God, those are some numbers. 56 and 41. And their team total is 37.5. One game this year, that number has not been broken. There you go. I mean, that Miami team total.
Shout out Nut Flush.
Yeah, hell yeah. That might have to hit my card right there. Shout out to Nut Flush, man.
Go and put that graphic up, Cab.
Is that where we're going next, Miami?
That's where we're going.
Let's do it. All right. I just had it up, but I still have to find it again. Sorry.
Good timing, Nut Flush.
We already touched on this game a little bit earlier. So I know I have the graphic, and I still can't find it, which is pathetic. Go ahead and start if you want, and I will get it up because it's in here somewhere.
Yeah. So Nut Flush had the stats down there. Quick shout out to Big O. R.I.P. Ben Herbstreit, man. Devastated with the news.
Really?
Kirk Herbstreit's dog passed away this week.
Oh, yeah.
The mascot of college football, in my opinion. Crazy. Anyway, Miami at Georgia Tech. Cam and company travel north for a short trip to Georgia Tech. Miami comes into the week with a high-powered offense that leads the nation in points per game, averaging 47.4 points per game. No defense has been able to stop Cam and Co. this season, as they have playmakers everywhere. Miami's lowest scoring game this season was 36 against a decent Florida State defense. Miami's team total for today is 37.5. They have been under this number one time this season. Miami, best bet, Miami team total. Over 37.5.
There you go. I mean, Collins and Nut Flush aligning. It's like the stars are aligning right there. 37.5 Miami. Man, I might have to get on that. Makes too much sense.
Yeah, I mean, Miami's also.
There's no way they don't get there.
Yeah.
We heard wine time earlier on the over. I mean, It gets there. The over hits, Miami team total hits. We get there with this one.
Yeah. Also to point out, last year was the infamous game where Cristobal decided not to take a knee. So he looks to run up the score here. Yeah, he didn't take the knee, and then Georgia Tech got the ball back, and King hit Leary for the game-winning touchdown with a second left. So maybe Cristobal is a little more conservative in this one since he was trying to run it up last year, and it backfired significantly. But I mean, this is also Cristobal trying to make a statement to the voters and where they rank. Because right now they are just inside of the first round bye, I believe. I think they're fourth, if I'm going off the top of my head. So it would be important for them to be able to make a statement here. So the Miami team total would be a very good look on that.
Stacks, anything here?
No, I told Wonton on the over 63.5, but now y'all got my attention on the team total. I'm about to put that in, right? That's what I'm doing as we speak. I like that.
There you go. That's what I was thinking too. I like that team total. Wine time on the over also. Thomas in the chat saying he's liking that team total. Also thinks that Georgia Tech is getting smashed. God, Cab, get the words out of your mouth. You can do this. Let's keep this thing rolling though.
I like Miami too. I like Miami laying the number. I didn't put it in as a best bet. Definitely played it, but I think Miami puts boots to ass and gets Georgia Tech out of there early, so they don't have to worry about fumbling at the end of the game.
Boots to ass. I like it. Get that belt out, Miami.
Yeah.
All right, I'm off this one also. What's the next one we're looking at, Kong?
Michigan headed to Indiana.
Oh yeah, even if you didn't send it to me, I should know. I mean, Army, Indiana, wagon, getting paid all year. That's what it is.
Why stop now, right?
Exactly. I completely and totally resonate with that. You've seen how I bet, so I like it. But talk to me. Tell me what we're looking at.
Yeah, and when I get off the show today, how am I not going and putting Josh Hoover with Army first quarter and Indiana spread? How do I not do that after the show?
There's the wagon. Hey, they call it the wagon parlay of the day. I might have to do that too now.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just cashed. It's just been there. All right. So Indiana gets Michigan, where they look to get a little revenge against a conference foe that has consistently put belts to ass when they play. With Michigan winning 9 of the last 10 and 58 of 68 total matchups, stemming back to 1925. The shoe will be on the other foot today. Indiana has a chip on their shoulder this year, coming out winning 9 straight and averaging 46.5 points per game. This IU defense is so fun to watch. I text Cab every week. This defense is something else. Really, they just blow me away. They fly around. They get after the quarterback, force fumbles, grab interceptions. You name it. We know what Michigan is going to try to do today. But no running from this ass whooping. Best bet, Indiana, minus 13.5.
There we go. Indiana, minus 13.5. It's up a little now. Did you get that at regular juice? I know you tweeted it out so people could have got it.
Yeah, it was 13.5 early in the week. I think it was minus 105 or so. I endorse the 14.5. Indiana's. Something else I didn't touch on, found out this morning. Will Johnson out again this week. Huge part of this Michigan defense. When he's on the field, quarterbacks are scared to throw the ball at him. He will intercept passes thrown in his direction. He's out. He's out again today. I look for Indiana to come out here and put up what they've been doing all year, 40, 50 points. And Michigan, I don't think they score more than 14 here.
I've been real low on Michigan and watching you cash on Indiana, so I wouldn't look any other way. Robert Franklin liking it. He's agreeing with you. Shoe's going to be up Michigan's ass today. Stacks, did you bet this one? Anything here?
No, I faded Indiana one time this year. It didn't work out. I believe these boys, but I just can't. I can't bet on Indiana. It's just hard for me to take them serious. But I ain't fading them no more. I'm not.
I get it. Yeah, I get it completely. Moose, what about you?
Only thing that's surprising to me when I was doing some research on this, I thought I was going to hear a lot of chatter about fire Sharon Moore. We need a new coach. We need to bring hard, but that narrative doesn't exist, which is really surprising. That Michigan is giving Moore a little bit of leash on this. I would think that after the season they've had, that there would be some chatter, but I think a lot of the fan base is kind of recognizing that, yeah, this team was essentially overhauled. It is not the typical Michigan team. It'll be interesting to see what they do next year, but in terms of this game here, I got nothing. It would be Indiana or nothing. Indiana first half has been just as effective as the full game. So if you're looking at Indiana, you double up spots. This is one of the better double up teams because they have just been one of the cash cows of college football this year. But I couldn't get there to the window. They have Ohio State as well coming up. So two back-to-back games that are going to kind of make or break the Indiana playoff picture. Because if they're able to get past Michigan, if they're able to somehow get a respectable game against Ohio State, I think we see Indiana in the playoffs.
Yeah. So I told everybody a couple weeks ago, grab Indiana plus 13.5 playing Ohio State. Look ahead line. It's down to 9.5 now. I'm going to be on Indiana when they play Ohio State. I think they can keep that game close. And something else I was talking about earlier this week. How does Michigan not try to steal Kurt Signetti from Indiana after the season?
Yeah.
That seems very plausible right there, actually. I can see that. Shout out to Jesse Nunez, man. He said Dylan Gabriel over 289.5 passing yards. Shout out to you, man. My guy BT rolling in. Good to see you, BT. I know BT's a Baylor guy. Our dude Stacks is going to talk Baylor, not football. Little Baylor basketball today. What are you thinking, BT? Tell me how the Bears are going to do. Let's keep this thing rolling, man. We're up 225. We're very close to that 250 mark, guys. If you push it, share it, hit the like button, go to Twitter and retweet it, X and retweet it, whatever. Share it on social media. You get the point. You get it out there for us. We'll hit that 250 today. Thank you guys for keeping it moving. Kong, is that all? Are we doing the 2-unit now, or do you have another game you want me to pull up graphic-wise?
No more games. We're going to go to the player props first.
Beautiful. Move this
25 people. Go grab your old lady's phone. Hop on YouTube with your old lady's phone. Boom, we're at 250.
That's a good point. Kong's beating the system right there. I like it. Just like you've been beating the system with Army and Indiana all year. I already got your daily 3+ passing or 3+ touchdowns at plus 110. But what's the next one we're looking at?
All right. So Cam Ward, Heisman. He's going to win the Heisman this year, guys. I seen his stats compared to past Heisman winners. And he's just doing crazy things. We're going to be on his pass prop today, over 313.5 minus 110.
I like it.
Tweeted that out last night. We're going to be on Jackson Dart. His pass prop is 275 plus minus 110. How does he not get to 275? I seen Trey Harris was doubtful when I watched game day this morning. So that could be a wrench in the system, but I think he can throw 275 on Georgia defense today. Milroe. Jalen Milroe's rush prop today is 48.5. Look, Texas Tech laid the groundwork for what to do with this LSU defense. If Jalen Milroe can't get to 50 rushing yards today, then that's some bad play calling by Kalen DeBoer, in my opinion. Shadur Sanders, 3+ passing touchdowns today. It's sitting at minus 130. If you want to push that up to 4, I think he gets that as well. And that was I think the 4 passing touchdowns was a plus 210. If you wanted to play that. Then we're going to bounce to the plus money prop of the day. Right back to Alabama, Jalen Milroe. If he uses his legs today, get down in the red zone, uses his legs a little bit. We're going to be on Jalen Milroe, 2+ touchdowns, plus 310. It's not very far-fetched that Jalen Milroe gets in the end zone twice today, in my opinion. And plus 310, I'm on it. That's the plus money prop of the day.
mean, we saw Marcel
Now-
Reed in the end zone 3 times in 1 quarter. So, yeah, Milroe having 4 quarters to do it. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Then to the segment everybody's been waiting for. Bounce back segment of the week. 2-unit parlay. We're going to be on Miami. Team total over 37.5. They've only got under that number one time this year. Georgia Tech don't scare me on defense. Team total over 37.5. Indiana minus 13.5. I do believe that's an alternate number you have to grab now. I calculated that in when I put this out of my X. Oregon, first half minus 13.5. The 2-unit parlay this week is a plus 505 for 2 units. Let's get to the money. It's a money-making Saturday. I said it a couple of weeks ago. I was feeling it then. I'm feeling it now. We're going to make some fucking money today. Put
Hell
your
yeah.
bets in, sit back, grab some popcorn, cash some tickets. Shout out to the pub. Shout out Jeff Slaughter, Justin McElvey, Gab, Moose, the whole damn chat, Gravy Bets, Nut Flush, Nunya, Steve G, that dude. Get some money today, babies.
Let's go.
Now.
I gotta say, Kong's bets have been fire since day one, and his breakdowns have always been fine too. But those are getting even better, also. Just getting better and better and better as we move. It's a beautiful thing. Making money, getting paid, coming up here, kicking ass every week. Shout out to our guy Kong's Clips. But it's about that time, Justin. Speaking of intros, it's about that time we get to the stacks.
Stacks, 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 stacks.
Time to get to the stacks. And I know you got one in college basketball, one in college football. You know, Justin texted me, was like, hey, can we do college basketball on the show also? I'm like, yes, this is a college football show, but it's also a best bet show where we try to get paid first and foremost. So, of course, we can do college basketball. And I'm going to rapid fire my college basketball plays at the end of the show also, along with all my college football plays. But let's start with the college football. It was Clemson, Virginia Tech, correct? That was your first stacks. Hell yeah. So we got number 23 Clemson coming off that ass whooping that they took last week, if I'm going to be frank. Traveling to, a hostile place to play, but I got to imagine Clemson is angry here. I mean, I got to just imagine they're angry. And if you take out the recency bias of what Clemson did last week, we're all on Clemson at 6.5. And I can do that. I can take out recency bias. I've already took it out. I've already put my money on Clemson. So I personally am on Clemson here. Full game, no first half, none of that stuff. But I'd love to hear what you got to say too, Stacks. What you looking at?
Yeah, I'm on Clemson minus 13.5. Wait. Minus 6.5, my fault.
Yeah.
I'm on Clemson minus 6.5. I don't see this being close. I think it was Wonton or somebody said they was on, or Gunz. I don't know who it was. So they on Virginia Tech. I think they tripping. Like, Virginia Tech not like that. Dabo, I trust Dabo. Clemson, they rumbled my boys, Georgia. Like, we beat the hell out of them. But I think this is Clemson off a loss. Like, I don't see this being close. This is like first half, full game type shit.
I actually thought about taking that first half too. I couldn't agree more with you on this one right here. I like Clemson also. Moose, what you got on this one? What's your thoughts?
I must be tripping because I'm on the Hokies. I got Virginia Tech. I mean, Dabo in conference last 10 years, 82-12 straight up, 51-40 and 3 ATS. This year, Clemson 5-1 straight up, but 3-3 ATS. Both teams enter off of a loss. Clemson is 18-16 ATS off of a loss under Dabo, and Virginia Tech is 8-6 ATS off a loss under Brent Pry. Pry has not been good straight up against top 25 teams, 1-4 straight up, but he is 4-1 ATS. As a home dog, Pry, the Hokies are 2-1 ATS. Dabo's an away favorite is only 32-30 and 1 ATS, and they are 1-1 ATS this year. I mean, yeah, the loss against Louisville, I mean, yeah, that wasn't great. And I wouldn't really say that was a look-ahead spot. But the Tigers have allowed 4 teams to score 30 plus. And that's not a data point you expect to see with a team that is ranked and graded as highly as Clemson is. Georgia, North Carolina State, Virginia, and Louisville are 4 of the better offenses Clemson has faced, and each one of those offenses put up points. The only one that didn't was Wake Forest, and you could argue that Wake Forest isn't exactly a great offense, but their numbers suggest that they are. Clemson in the last 2 weeks has allowed 64 points. So before the Louisville game, we still saw Clemson giving up a lot of points. I think Virginia Tech is going to cross the 30-point threshold unless there's some kind of surprise inactive. Drones and Tootin are both expected back. Tootin a little more questionable. Drones is absolutely going to be back. But Clemson has not had a road game go over the total, and Virginia Tech at home has gone 2-2 on the total. I do kind of like the over here, but I wanted to see where kind of the rest of my action went. I like the Hokies here. Clemson has gotten 83% of the tickets. This was, I believe, on Thursday. 83% of the tickets, 93% of the cash, but the line moved towards Virginia Tech. So there's some sharp action coming in on the Hokies. And really a lot of this is also the fact that Blacksburg at night with Enter Sandman, I mean, that place is going to be absolutely rocking. This is a huge game
It's not at night.
Virginia Tech. Yeah, it is on at night. It's a night game at Virginia Tech. And
it's at 2:30, man.
I thought it was at 4:30. I thought it was at 4:30.
Well,
3:30.
2:30 my time, 3:30 Eastern. What is that? 12:30 your time.
So it would still be 3:30 Eastern. Would still be putting it right around like evening, like kind of night. Anyways, we're getting semantics about it's later in the day. All right, it's later in the day
in the second half.
It should be it should be darker in the second half. But anyways, it's still a later game. I like Virginia Tech when they have a little bit of time for their fans to get a little crunk in the parking lot. But I think Virginia Tech, I think they are absolutely live here. I get that Clemson is a better team, but Clemson has not been great ATS, and I think a touchdown might be a little much. But I wouldn't be surprised if this was a Clemson kind of show up spot. But I like Virginia Tech at home is the place I like to bet them.
Did you bet it?
Yes, I took Virginia Tech plus 6.5, and I sprinkled the money line.
Okay, I'm okay with all the negative going against our bets. If you bet the other side, you can do that.
Absolutely.
But your money better be there. If you're going to say all that and your money's not, no, you got to put the money where the mouth is. So
yeah, expect that.
And I'm also looking at the over. I think the over is also live here.
Okay, the over here. I mean, both these teams putting up over 30 points on average this season, so it makes sense there. Shout out to our guy Domo, man, in the chat. Man Bear Pig, everybody's still rolling in. Christopher Tatum, he's on Clemson with us. He's got the -6. Randall, good to see you. We're still up 220 people here. Keep hitting that like, keep sharing it. We're close, man. We're close. You guys are doing a hell of a job on these Saturdays, and I love being here with y'all in the chat.
Oh, you just went muted.
Did I just mute myself in the middle of talking?
I saw you hit the mic. Yeah.
No, it was me. That was weird. I don't know why I did that. But we got one more Stacks, and it's not going to have a graphic because it is in college basketball, and it is a huge game. Arkansas traveling to Waco, Texas to take on the Baylor Bears here. If I'm not mistaken, Baylor is a 3-point favorite. Obviously, I've looked into this myself as well. What are you thinking here, Stacks?
As y'all know, I faded Baylor the first game. Wasn't too popular. This might not be popular. But for today, I'm on Baylor -3.5 with confidence. Like they got smacked by like 30, might have been 40. I don't even remember what it was, but it was bad. And I told y'all in the chat, I'm not fading Baylor as the season. I'm fading Baylor game 1. Now, 40-point loss, there's not a chance now. This shit gonna get bad. This is gonna be a blowout. Like y'all tell it or not, but this is why I'm putting the basketball play on a football play. I love this play. I even told my homies in the streets to bet this shit.
Hey, I like Baylor. I mean, look, I was on the wrong side of that Gonzaga Baylor game on the first one. I remember us kind of going back and forth when I saw you were on Gonzaga, and I was clearly on the wrong side there. But for everyone who sees like a team get beat by 30 or 40 points like Baylor, basketball is a different sport than football, okay? Like you can bounce back from losses like that. I mean, hell, look at what North Carolina did just in the second half against Kansas. They got whooped that first half. I mean, they were taking it. And then they came out the second half, completely different basketball team. I think you're going to see a completely different basketball team from Baylor here against Arkansas. I couldn't agree more with that, Stacks. I've almost bet it myself. I've got 5 bets today, and I almost added that one to my college basketball list too. But I love it, man. So we got Clemson -6 or -6.5. Either way, Clemson ATS, college football. And then you got the Baylor Bears -3 college basketball, right?
Yep.
Beautiful, dude. Thank you, Stacks, for coming up on here, man. You got any last words for the chat and everybody before we keep this thing rolling?
Yeah, Penn State. Just throw that in there. Penn State tonight. Happy Valley at night. Just a little play. You can make it official. It's not stats, but you can make it official.
There we go.
Absolutely.
It's not Stacks, but it's official for the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we got three bets from our guy Justin here. 2 of them are Stacks. One of them's Penn State. -13.5. Love it, man. I got a whole card today. Everybody's been bringing the action today, a little more than usual too. So we're loaded up, man. Any last words for the chat though?
Appreciate you.
Hell yeah, Justin. I love doing this with you, man. You're gonna be here with us next Saturday, right?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, dude. Let's get paid, man. I'll see you soon.
Stacks, 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 stacks. Stacks, 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 stacks.
And then there were 2. But the good news is, Moose, I did just see our guy Dutch jump backstage. He disappeared for a second, but he was just back there. And Dutch would have gone 3-0 last week if he would have been here with us. But regardless of that, and I'm not exact, I want to say he's like 8-2 the last 4 shows that he has been here with us. You can fact check me on that, but it's pretty damn close to that. He's been absolutely killing it. And he's back there again, ready to go. Guys, when Dutch is done, Moose is going to go over his bets that he has not given yet and hit any Moose dropping questions. We're at the 1:30 mark right now on the show, which means we got 30 minutes until kickoff. So go ahead and start putting your questions in the chat or thinking of them for Moose so that I can star them.
Yeah.
If there's games we haven't talked about you want to hear, if there's players you want to hear about, drop it. And your email. Drop your email for the Moose Dive. But like I said, my dude, my co-host, one of the best, if not, this and I got to say the tailgate in the session. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but, one of the best, if not the best show that you can find on YouTube here. My co-host, my guy who's been absolutely dominating college football this year. Even though we look at him as an NBA guy, he's been cashing bets everywhere. Shout out to my dude, Dutch Boy Fresh. What up, Dutch?
What's up, fellas? What's up, fellas? How we doing?
What's good, Dutch?
Good, man. Yo, I'm trying to turn mine into a stand-up thing. You let me know how you like it after you're done with it.
Yeah, I did it on Wednesday because my back has been killing me, and I don't mind it. It's all right. It's all right. But yeah, man, it's good to be with you guys. Good to be with the chat. Run up them likes. Let's have a big Saturday, man. Let's have a big Saturday. We keep it G. We keep it real G, Daby Cab. So it's only right, we go to Ole Miss and start off with these dogs, baby. Line them up and knock them the fuck down. And that's exactly what the Georgia Bulldogs will be doing to this fugazi Ole Miss defense, in my opinion. They got a lot of talent. They do. But in the trenches, come on, man. There's levels to this shit. And Georgia is clearly on another level, in my opinion, in the trenches, as we've seen against Texas. I mean, up until Texas, this motherfuckers was walking on water until they ran into the motherfucking dogs and got bullied. And that's exactly what's going to happen in Ole Miss, in my opinion. I'll give Jackson Dart the edge over Beck, but after that, forget about it, man. It's literally the dogs. Their front seven is way better. And what it comes down to is, who the fuck are you trusting, Lane Kiffin or Kirby Smart? Sign me the fuck up with Kirby. It sounds like the smart play to me. I'm all over the dogs. -2 is good money.
Man, I tell you what, I'm right there with you. I'm with you on the dogs. Wine Time, Gunz, Moose. Everybody else is on Ole Miss. So this could be a hell of a game.
It's man among boys, bro. There's a man on one side of the line and there's a boy on the other sideline. I'll take the man. Give me Kirby.
Hey, like I said, I couldn't agree more. Moose, I know you've already touched on this. Do you want to deflect anything or you want to keep it moving?
I mean, it is Carson Picks that likes to give the ball away. So, that's a big issue for Georgia. Their turnover margin still is very good because Georgia defense has also gotten the ball back. Yeah, I mean, I talked about this earlier. If you want to see any more information on it, I was very shocked. I looked at this game. I literally wrote down on my looks, Georgia. I literally wrote that down. Like, as soon as I looked at the car, I was like, oh, yeah, I'll probably be on Georgia here. And then I did my dive, and I ended up on the other side. because it was just one of those things. You look at the data points and you just go, all right, the secondary for Georgia has looked sus at times. If you're talking about Georgia secondary looking sus, and then you're talking about Ole Miss and their offense being a high-powered throwing offense, it just kind of seemed like that worked out for me. I just hope it's a good game. All right, regardless of win or loss, I would like this to be competitive all the way through. Georgia does have Tennessee on deck. This is the last big statement game that Ole Miss can make. And if I'm doing my best Jackson Dart impression, got to win out. Just got to win out. Can't lose again. Got to win out. So they got to get this game. This game means everything to them. Yeah. I got a eye black. Yeah.
Stupid ass eye black all over your face. Look, I'll say this: two counterpoints, and then we're going to roll because we got more games to get to. We haven't even hit Alabama LSU yet, and we've got over 220 people rocking with us that have heard our thoughts on this. I'll say these two things. One, I said this going into the Texas game. Even though Carson Beck has not been good this year, he still has the ability. He still has the potential to nullify any quarterback on the other side. I said that going in against Texas. I said Carson Beck has the ability to be just as good as yours. And guess what? He still threw 3 fucking interceptions that game. He better not do that this game. But I stand by what I said. Carson Beck has the ability to play just as good as anybody else.
Yeah, there's a reason why he's a quarterback at Georgia. Come on now. He does. I mean, that Alabama game was pretty fucking disgusting, especially that pick at the end. But clearly Ole Miss has not played well in conference. I mean, I believe their 2 L's are against teams that aren't as good as Georgia. Just to be quite honest with you, definitely in the trenches. And I believe they're better coached as well. So, and I think the numbers could kind of persuade you a little bit because Georgia plays down to the competition. They don't give a fuck. They just win. And then when it comes to a game like this, they let it out. So the numbers, all that eye test to me, and the sidelines is where it comes down to me. Coaching and the physicalness of Georgia.
Yeah, and the last point, Trey Harris was game day apparently, from what I'm hearing in the chat, said that he's listed as doubtful. He was upgraded to questionable. So I'm not sure what they're looking at. And most of the reports I'm looking at say that Trey Harris is expected to play. So I'm not sure what information game day is going through. I'm not surprised ESPN didn't do their research, didn't go through the statistics. Not surprising for the Mickey Mouse organization they've turned into. But I think Trey Harris is expected to play today.
All right, let's go. It's only right. I'm here every week, and I've been here. We went to Vandy. I mean, we go to Tennessee, right? We go to Vandy. I mean, we're going with the best thing going, and that's Diego Pavia. Now, I talked about this a little bit with Daby Cab earlier in the week. I said 3.5, man. God damn. I don't know. It should be an auto bet, but 3.5. Now we got 6.5. It's happened every week, and it's continuing to happen. We're getting value with Vanderbilt off a South Carolina team who's extremely talented in this running back they got. I'm probably not mad at the props. Rocking something. I'm not mad at the props with this kid. Maybe my insurance a little bit and put some on his props, but huge win last week for South Carolina against the Aggies. I mean, maybe you say it's just Texas A&M. Texas A&M has been playing very good football all year. And they were one of the better teams in the conference. And South Carolina went in there and just obviously were ready. Or, A&M went in there and South Carolina was just ready for them. And they pounded them from fucking start to finish. I don't believe it'll be the same case this week. It's what it is, man. You take Diego Pavia and you take the fucking points. If you want to take money line, I'm not mad at it. This game is probably the least comfortable I am with Vanderbilt. But give me Diego Pavia. Give me the points after South Carolina. Big win. I don't think it was a big win in Auburn. They went to Auburn knowing they're going to win that football game. They outplayed them from start to finish. I think they're in this game. Do they win this game? I don't know. But anything more than I think 4 is a bet. And I'm going to be on Vanderbilt here and Diego Pavia to keep this game competitive.
And we talk about Indiana. We talk about Army. We talk about Josh Hoover. We talk about wagons. Vanderbilt's been Dutch's wagon. Just cashing all year on Vanderbilt. It's been money. I've loved watching it. Look, South Carolina's coming off of their most what's the word that I'm looking for? Their biggest statement win.
Impressive, dominant.
Yeah, everybody saw them beat A&M at 6:30. Everybody saw that. 80,000 people. Home crowd going crazy, the lights flashing. Everybody saw it. So I always touch on recency bias. There's got to be recency bias here.
Yeah, moved 3 fucking points because of the way they played against the Aggies.
Yeah, there you go. So I haven't bet this one, but I'd only be on Vanderbilt also. Moose, what about you?
There is an injury to Diego Pavia. He did go from questionable earlier in the week to probable. But there is an injury issue going on with Pavia. But I'm not. I think he miss the game? Didn't he miss a game recently?
No, he played 4 quarters against Auburn.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, but there is an injury concern. You're always concerned that there might be a flare up, but I just wanted to throw that out there that there is an injury designation on Pavia, but they have upgraded him from questionable to probable.
That dude ain't missing a fucking football game.
No, I was going to say before I saw somebody in the chat kind of mention, I was like, oh yeah, wait, I think I did see that. But I mean, has there been a bigger glow up than Diego Pavia this year? I mean, goddamn, dude went from New Mexico State trying to, revamp that program, and now he's at Vanderbilt and doing the same thing in an SEC. That dude has got to be. I mean, probably not the comeback player of the year because he really didn't have a bad year. But if you're talking about glow up, I mean, he's got to be the glow up representative out there because he has been unbelievable this year.
Absolutely, he's the best story in college football, in my opinion. And the court, and I mean, I need Diego out there, and he will be out there. But that backup for Vanderbilt they got too is a pretty talented kid. I've seen him play a little bit when Diego's getting kind of nicked up a little bit. But Diego Pavia is absolutely no way in hell he misses this football game.
Hey, we're going to roll on to your next one. Christopher Tatum dropped Tennessee money line plus 110. That is at 11 o'clock. And I want to go ahead and say this for everybody.
It's got to be basketball, right?
It is, yes. I am on Tennessee first half plus a half. I think you can get plus one now. That tips in 23 minutes. So I just wanted to hit it. I'm also on Tennessee first half there, plus one. Shout out to you, Christopher, for dropping that.
Shout out to our guy, Mr. Camentini. Yeah, let's go, man. Let's go late night. It's going down 10:15 Eastern time, 7:15 out here on the fresh side. BYU, Utah. That's right. It's the Utah battle, the battle of the motherfucking Mormons. And give me BYU, man. This team continues to get disrespected. Last week, getting points against UCF. Everyone wanted to be, so cute and back them fucking sorry ass UCF, whatever the fuck they are, Golden Knights, whatever. But I mean, come on, man. BYU was start to finish the better team. BYU has been a good team. They have not lost the game yet. They just continue to beat everybody they put in front of them. They have big wins against K-State, against SMU, and SMU's a pretty goddamn good football team. You look at the other side of Utah. They've lost 4 straight, I believe. Their biggest win against Oklahoma State. I just don't see it. I like the running back for BYU. I think the quarterback is dual threat, can make the runs when he needs to, and they got big fucking talented wide receivers. The defense plays team defense, not the best looking defense out there, but also Utah offense is not something that we're going to write home about. So I clearly think Utah gets beat the fuck up for 4 quarters. I think BYU goes 9-0. This is an easy play for me. It's probably honestly my most confident play on the board. I really do like the dogs, but BYU continues to get disrespected. I think it's in the locker room. I think the coach got these boys with that underdog mentality, and it shows. And they play team football over there, and they're going to smack a Utah team who's just not what people thought they were at the start of the year.
They're not. And the only team that I would say has been disrespected like BYU is, the number 8 team, the number 8 and the number 9 team, Indiana and BYU. People just do not want to believe in these football teams, and they continue week in and week out to prove us wrong. If you don't bet them, stay the fuck away from the game because they've been covering game in, game out. It's what they do. And BYU wants to play a physical football game. That's all Utah can do. But the good news is that's what BYU wants to do anyways. So, yeah, I think the same thing here. BYU almost hit my card. I hadn't bet it yet, though. Moose, anything?
All right. So this series dates back to 1896, the Holy War, back to 1896.
Does it really? That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, they played football in 1896?
May not have been called football. They may have called it something else. They might have been.
Are you making shit up right now, bro?
No, I'm dead serious. The Holy War is one of the longest running rivalries in all of sports, dating back to 1896, 1896. But in the series, Utah has dominated this series recently. Since 2008, they've won 10 of the last 12, 8-4 ATS, and they've won 9 of the last 10. When I saw the line at -3, I think I had the same reaction you guys kind of had. Is like, okay, this is clearly a BYU spot. How can a team that is undefeated and has not covered the number only 1 time this year against a Utah team that is 4-4 straight up and 2-6 ATS? How are you hanging a 3? Like, how are you hanging a -3 on this
rivalry game?
Yeah, I mean, I get that. And then you look at the tickets and you see that tickets and cash are going on BYU. But the line did not move in response to that. The line moved away from them. If anything, it's gone towards Utah. So I look at this game and I kind of be like, I feel like this is kind of a trap. Utah does technically have the better players. They don't necessarily have the better team, but they have, better highly ranked prospects. Cam Surprising is out for the year. I'm sorry, Cam Rising is out for the year.
It'd be surprising if his ass played.
Yeah, well, he's out for the year. He's done.
No, I know. Me either.
I was shocked. I mean, in terms of like guys that were looking to be NFL like prospects, potentially have, draft stock, Rising and Ollie Gordon are two of the names that come immediately to mind in terms of like, wow, like what the hell happened to you guys? You guys were supposed to be like first, second, third round picks. And now, you might be an undrafted free agent by the way things look. So I kind of have some issues with what the number is and where the line movement has gone. Whittingham has had Sitaki's number, winning 4 of the last 5, but Sitaki did win last year's game or the last game. I feel like BYU's a side. I do, but I also kind of like this might be a trap. This might be one of those little trap games. And if I feel like I'm recognizing a trap game, I'm going to stay off of it. But BYU would be the only side I could bet here because I think they are the better team, even though Utah might have the better players.
I respect that. I feel like college football feels like, I don't know what it is, but I feel like almost every week the line is too good to be true. And it just continues. That's why I'm fucking loving college football. I just feel like, what the fuck? And then it's the same thing, every week. So I don't overthink college football. Yeah, it's going to happen. You're going to get smacked up here and there. But I just go with what I see and what my eyes fucking tell me. And BYU is clearly a better fucking football team than Utah.
Yeah. Muted.
You're muted, Cal.
Same boat, man. College football, sometimes it's not too good to be true. And I might be a little old school with this one, but when I see a -3 on the road, I look at it as a -6 or a -6.5 if they were at home. And like I said, I know that might not still be the adage to what it is for points on the road. But if you had BYU at home and they were sitting at -6.5, that would make sense to me. That would make more sense. So the -3 doesn't necessarily scare me too much. I like BYU here also. I love it. So you bought 3-pack to us, Dutch. Are those the 3 for you?
Yeah, just a 3-piece, man. I got the dogs. I got Vandy, Diego Pavia will suit up, and it'll be a competitive football game. And then the Cougars, man, they're gonna run Utah at their own motherfucking field. I like these plays an awful lot. Be sure to subscribe to Post Sports Radio. Check out all the live shows, all the shows we do right here, doing big things right here at PSR. And, of course, Medicaid Monday. We're trying to get to 200 live. All you real motherfuckers here vibing out with us on these college football vibes. Come and get the Medicaid Monday vibes. We get money. We clean in house. Cons Clips gives out his picks right our way. So, I mean, we got heavy hitters. Razor Sharp Picks will be back. It's the motherfucking vibe. Medicaid Mondays. Be there. Y'all stay fresh.
Hell yeah, Dutch. Shout out to my co-host right there, Dutch Boy Fresh. And he's right, man. We got 225 people in here rocking with us right now. Let's hit over 200 on Medicaid Monday. All you guys that are in here show up with us. Even if you don't smoke, it's cool. We still talk bets. We still talk action, have a few laughs. Come hang out with us. And if you do smoke and haven't showed up, I don't know what the fuck you're waiting on because you're missing out on a good time. We smoke, gamble, laugh, bet, make money. I don't know anything better than that, Moose. But right now there's only 2 left, and it really is just us 2. I want to hit Moose's best bets. Guys, I have 10 bets today. I've already told you guys a few of them, but I want to hit my bets for you guys. I want Moose to hit his bets. He's been killing it these last couple weeks, and I want to get y'all's questions for Moose. We got about 15 minutes left to wrap this up, Moose, so let's roll through this. What's the first game you want me to pull up?
You know what? Let's do Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. Man, that's another team that every freaking week I want to bet Cincinnati, and every week they cover, and every week I don't bet them, and I'm kicking myself afterwards. Guess what? Again, I want to bet Cincinnati this week, and I haven't done it. Go ahead and start. I don't know if I can't see the graphic. Go ahead and start if you want.
All right. I mean, last year, the Gunz talks about pound of flesh, and last year West Virginia dominated Cincinnati, winning 42-21, and it wasn't even as close as the score indicates because West Virginia had 42 early on, and it was kind of Cincinnati kind of crawling back. Cincinnati coming off of a loss and a bye, where Satterfield off of loss 4-5-1 ATS, but is 2-0 this year with straight up wins following each loss. Off a bye, Satterfield is 1-1 straight up and won their game earlier this year off of a bye. Satterfield is 16-6 straight up off of a bye in his career. Neil Brown in conference, 23-26 straight up and ATS. This game really does come down to the passing defense of West Virginia, which does not rank well. And again, if you want to see any more of the information, I kind of gloss over a lot of stuff that I have in my dive. Drop your email in the chat. I will add you to the Moose Dive. There is a ton of information in there. I mean, so much that it takes me probably 45 minutes at least to go over this. But West Virginia has been very poor on defense, having only allowed 30-plus points 3 times, and only 1 happened on the road back in week 2. West Virginia has only really seen 3 passing offenses: Pitt, Iowa State, and Arizona. Pitt is a pretty legit passing offense. Iowa State is decent, but will prefer to run the ball. And Arizona's Noah Tufita has been really struggling with his drop step, and you saw that in the game. I mean, the announcers were talking about how far back he drops and how inconsistent he is with his drop back. The issue is going to be for pass rush. Can West Virginia generate a pass rush? And they have not generated much of a pass rush. When Sorsby has played well, when Brendan Sorsby has played well, Cincy has done really well. If Sorsby has a 70 or higher grade on PFF, Cincinnati has scored 27 plus. I think Sorsby is able to have a much better game today after the really poor game he had in his last game. I see Cincinnati bouncing back. There's a few bets I have here to kind of finish up. And again, if you want more information, check out my Moose Dive. I have a very big breakdown in there, but I got Cincinnati -4. I also have Xavier Henderson. I'm going back to that receiving yards over 54.5. And I'm taking Brendan Sorsby passing yards over 257.5.
Beautiful. I said it at the beginning, Cincinnati, I've been wanting them. I want to know if that's true too. Nate said that Pavia is suing.
No, that's just a joke.
It's not true.
You
Why
can't sue
no,
to get eligible because it's supposed to get your eligibility. Like you're supposed to be like, oh, I have another. It's like you don't sue, you would petition. So,
okay, well then he meant petition.
All right,
Is he petitioning for another year?
I don't think it works like that. I don't think you get to say that. If you didn't use your redshirt eligibility, that's on you for not using redshirt eligibility. But I believe he did. Yeah, I mean, Nate, there's no way that that's even going to happen. All right.
Shout out to my dude Markel rolling in the chat. Jay's Final Take, also good follows right there on Twitter. Both those guys, good follows on X, whatever. Jay's Final Take, Markel. Thank you guys for popping in. Doug Wise, good to see you. I gave your attention in the fucking comments, Hoflation. I'm not going to say it up here. You can go read it if you want, but you really are a hoe. I mean, that name's right on point. Fucking loser. Anyways, we keep this thing rolling. Moose, what's the next one?
All right, let's go to Colorado and Texas Tech.
Colorado and Texas Tech. I'm excited to touch on this one. I do have a bet in this one also, so let me hear it.
It's over. I mean, this is Texas Tech at home in conference has been an over machine, and I think I saw it earlier. This is the time of the year where you see coaches that are kind of having those Heismans. They try to pump, they try to gas up their Heismans. Coach Prime is going a different way. He is saying Sanders and Hunter do not care about the Heisman at all. They are not focused on that. It is surprising. Colorado is absolutely in the running for a conference championship, but you're looking at a Tech team that has really struggled against the pass. One of the better props out there has been opposing passing yards. Last week it was Iowa State, and Becht passed that number. So there's a couple of ways I went about this. I wanted to go with some Hunter receiving yards. I wanted to go with Sanders passing yards, but those numbers are well inflated. You'd have to take Travis Hunter over 100. You'd have to take Shadur Sanders over 330, I believe. But if you wanted to do that, I have zero issues. But I think the over is live here. Colorado on the road has been better on defense, but Texas Tech has been much better at home. I took the first half over 30.5. The teams generally come out swinging. Both coaches, Joey McGuire and Deion Sanders, have been legit game planners. And one of the bets, and shout out Big Ragu, one of the bets that Big Ragu kind of pointed out to me was Colorado first quarter, how consistently they come out. So I added that as well. So I'm on first quarter over, and I'm also on first half over as well.
So I like the over here. I took Colorado. I took them in the first half. I got Colorado -2.5 in the first half, -115, a little bit of juice. But I'm there with them. Look, as a Tech alum, I can tell you one thing. Tech can score. So the over is live. Tech has always been able to put up points. It's one thing, they've always done. I watched the interview with Prime talking about this game, and it was so funny, man, because, they throw tortillas at Texas Tech. And the way he said it, he was like, wait, I forgot what he said at first, but he's like, what did they throw at you? Fajitas? And then he named like 2 other things. He was like, tortillas. Like the way he said it was so funny, man. Prime was cracking me up with that one. But I got Colorado. I'm rolling with them first half here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like the over. I like the over also. So Moose on the over. We got to roll though. Moose, 10 minutes left. What's the next one?
All right. Let's go. What should we do here? How about Iowa State and Kansas?
Iowa State and Kansas. That sounds good to me. We haven't hit that one yet either. And I got the graphic quickly. Number 17, Iowa State, coming off that first loss, traveling to take on the Kansas Jayhawks, who almost lost in their home gym yesterday in basketball. But this is not basketball. This is football. Iowa State only a 3-point favorite. Maybe a fishing line. I don't know. I haven't been high on Iowa State all year, though. What are you thinking here?
All right, real quick. Nate, go ahead and find me a place where the NCAA was successfully sued. I'll wait. All right. It does not happen. The NCAA has never lost a lawsuit. They run the organization. So, yeah, it is ridiculous to think that Pavia is going to have any kind of success with there. So I will stand on my ground on that. I stand on business. But here, Iowa State against Kansas. Kansas has been really poor this year, and it's been very surprising because I thought Jalen Daniels was going to be a legit quarterback, and he is not. Kansas is on a very poor losing streak and ATS loss streak. Iowa State coming off of a very tough loss to Texas Tech, but I think this is a really good bounce back for them. Rocco Becht has been a surprisingly very efficient quarterback. I do see that Kansas has gotten some love with some sharps. But this is Iowa State to me. Yes, on the road, a little more difficult, but they have already gone on the road multiple times and have been able to secure victories and covers. I think that happens again here. The line has been going down, which, again, doesn't really concern me. You said this earlier, Cab, that when a line moves against you, there's very little concern. I like Iowa State here. I think they're the much better team. And if you're giving me under a field goal, that's where I'm going to go, and that's where I'm going to put my money. So I got to the window, Iowa State.
There we go. I'm off this one, so let's keep it rolling. I'm gonna go to the next one because, like I said, I'm gonna recap mine. I won't break them down because we've hit most of them, but I want to recap them. What's the next one you want to look at, Moose?
Let me go with some player props here. Let's go to TCU.
As long as you're telling me about Josh Hoover, I'm on board, baby.
I have it written down. I didn't like the fact that the Hoover was at minus 125 for the prop. I'm hoping I can get either a higher yardage with lower value or lower vig. So I'm hoping that's where I can go there, but I still need to check it. But where I went to Jack Beck and his receiving yards over 77.5. He's been one of the primary targets for Hoover, and this is going to be a big-time passing game. Oklahoma State has been horrific against the pass, so I see them. I see them passing the ball significantly here, and I do think that they're going to have a lot of passing yards here. 300 is always a lot, but guess who's thrown for a lot of passing yards here? It has been Josh Hoover. Hoover has done a very good job with being able to find different receivers, but he is generally locked onto Savion Williams and Jack Beck. So if you want to take either of those receiving props, go for it. But Beck has been the better target for Hoover. So give me Jack Beck receiving yards over. And you know what? Actually, Nate, that's a great point. The NIL deal. That's a solid point there. I will absolutely concede that. So
I'm reading his yelling. He said, I don't go to the diamond and kick dicks out of your mouth, or however that saying goes. What? What? Yeah, but he was right. Everyone's saying he's right about the Pavia thing. So that's cool. But yeah, I love the props here, Moose. You got more props? Another game? Are we still rolling?
Let's see here. But
you're not on Savion Williams, right? You're just saying that you endorse that?
Yeah, I endorse that. I am on the Jack Beck. That is where I'm at. You know what? Let's talk about one game we have not, and I'm surprised we have not talked about it. Alabama at LSU.
Let's do it.
All right. Alabama on the road. I mean, simple as that. Alabama on the road has been very difficult. They have not covered on the road. And you look at DeBoer in his first year, shout out to and respect to what he's been able to do out there in his first year at Alabama. But in your first year, road games can be very difficult to navigate, and they have been difficult to navigate. LSU at home under Brian Kelly has been very, very good. So I'm going to take LSU at home. It is a difficult matchup. I heard Kong give out Milroe for his rushing yards, or I believe his rushing yards. And yeah, LSU has given up a ton of red zone rushing touchdowns. So I'm also trying to look at a way to either bet Jam Miller or Haynes be able to score a rushing touchdown. So there's those two angles, either a rushing touchdown by somebody on Alabama. Not sure who I would pick there, but I'm still going to go through that later here today. But I also think LSU is absolutely the live look here. I'm on LSU. I took them +3, and I also sprinkled the money line.
Kong actually was, his Milrow prop was, well, he took his rushing prop, but he also took the 2+ TDs at +310. So shout out to our guy Kong there. Look, I've got a little bit of time to sit with this game, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'll be honest, I'm leaning the other way here, but I don't know if this is something that I care enough to get involved with, if I'm being honest, because this is tough right here. You know, this is tough. I just think that, you know, one thing that Kongs did say is how A&M laid out the blueprint, right, to run on this LSU defense. That being said, LSU didn't prep for a read, which was, you know, a mistake on the coaching part, but they didn't prep for it. So that kind of is what it is. And the other blueprint that A&M kind of laid out is how to make Nussmeier not look, you know, like the best quarterback in college football, put a little pressure on him. We'll see, man. We'll see. If everybody pay attention on my X, if I decide to bet this game, I will 100% post it for you guys. Is there another one you want to look at, Moose, or is that wrapping it up?
I also am on Minnesota at Rutgers, and I do have kind of one little interesting point. We were talking, Gunz and I were talking backstage before the show. Past week 6, since Schiano came back to Rutgers has not won more than 2 games. Once they get to like week 6, like once they get past the halfway point, for whatever reason, Rutgers starts to decline, and they have yet to win more than 2 games in the second half of the year. And you're talking about a Rutgers team that has some injuries. Kyle Monangai is questionable to play today. And that could be a significant factor here because the drop-off is fairly significant. Minnesota on the road. I wrote in my dive, trusting PJ Fleck in any way, shape, or form is always nerve-wracking. But trusting PJ Fleck on the road is especially nerve-wracking. And having to get almost a touchdown to cover is absolutely makes me nervous. But Minnesota is the only side I could hop on there. So I took my Minnesota minus.
Okay, you took Minnesota ATS?
Yeah, I took Minnesota and whatever you get. If you get the 5.5, the -6, the -6.5. I wouldn't go over 7. But if you want to get the minus at 5.5, 6, 6.5, whatever you'd like, Minnesota and the minus is exactly what I go. Minnesota spread.
Love it, man. So real quick, you said that was the last one, right?
I believe so, yes.
Well, go ahead and check that because I'll have you recap all your bets. I'm going to recap everybody's bets that came on the show really quick for you guys in the chat. Then I'm going to hit my bets. I'm also going to give you guys my college basketball bets. But here we go. Got a huge sheet of bets here for you guys today. Gunz, he started us off. ULM +8.5. Got to get in quick. That's one of the first games. San Jose State +3. He took Ole Miss first half money line at +105, and he is on JMU at -16.5. Then Wine Time came in. He's on the over in the Miami game. He's also on Ole Miss +3. He's on Washington +14 and the under in that Washington game, Washington Penn State game. Stacks, shout out to my guy Justin, came in here. He's on Clemson -6.5, right there alongside with me. I'm also on Clemson -6.5. He's on Baylor -3, college basketball. Let me be clear that Baylor bet is in college basketball for Stacks too. Then he's also on Penn State -13.5. Shout out to our guy Stacks. Kong. Now here's a clip for you guys. Army, first quarter, -1.5, +106. First half ATS, full game ATS. He's also on daily. Army's quarterbacks, 3+ touchdowns at +110. He is on the Miami team total over 37.5. He is on Indiana -13.5. And then he is in the trifecta spot with Oregon. Also, first quarter ATS, first half ATS, full game ATS. Kong's props are Cam Ward over 313.5 passing yards. Jackson Dart over 265.5 passing yards. Jalen Milrow over 48.5 rushing yards. Shedeur Sanders 3+ touchdowns at -130. And then Milrow, his plus money prop of the day, Milrow 2+ touchdowns at +310. So shout out to our guy Kongs. And then the 2-unit parlay of the week, Miami team total over, Indiana -13.5 on an alt line, Oregon first half -13.5. And that comes in at +505. Dutch cleaned us up here in the cleanup spot coming in. He brought us the dogs. I'm also on the dogs too. He's right there with me. Georgia -2.5. He's on Vandy +6.5 against South Carolina. And then he took BYU -3 in the Mormon rivalry game against Utah. So shout out to my guy Dutch. Real quick, I'll clean up for you guys. I guess let me do college football first. I got Clemson -6.5. I got Georgia -2.5. I am on Colorado first half -2.5. I took Josh Hoover's passing prop over 307.5. It's like 310.5 now. Obviously, I still like it. Would have bet it without question at that number. So I'm staying on it. I lean on Alabama, guys. I haven't given that out officially yet. I know Moose is on the other side, and I saw some of you guys like Mo Harris said it's easy. LSU's easy. Well, beating Alabama is easy, goddammit. I don't know why any other more people haven't been doing it throughout the years, right? I don't know about easy, Mo Harris, but if I don't bet it, I will root for you, my guy. So those are my 4 college football plays. And I'm looking at adding that 5th with Alabama. I'll post it if I do. College basketball, I got Tennessee +0.5 in the first half against Louisville, -110. I got Memphis, the Tigers. I'm going back to the well with them. I cashed on their first game. I got Memphis -1.5 over UNLV. And then I got the Cougars. I took Houston over Auburn, first half -2.5. Shout out to Justin. We talked about it on this show. The Auburn basketball team had to turn their flight around because 2 of their players got in a fight on the plane. Not the thing you want to do going to play a team like Houston, especially, you got Houston at home. That's not never where you want to be, especially if your team's not getting along. So those are my college basketball bets, those 3 right there. I've got a couple others that I might add. I'll let you guys know if I post them. You'll see them there. Guys, we've had over 150 people rocking with us this whole show. I'm going to give you guys, you got 20 seconds to get questions in the chat because I probably already missed them. If we missed a game, if we missed a player prop, or if you just want to know how Moose's day is going, drop them right now because this is the time for Moose droppings. Moose, recap your bets, and while they're dropping those things, I'll highlight them.
All right, I got Ole Miss money line. I didn't even take the points, just took the money line. Cincinnati -4, Minnesota -6, LSU +3, LSU money line. Virginia Tech +6.5, Virginia Tech money line. First half, Colorado, Texas Tech over 30.5. First quarter, Colorado, Texas Tech over 13.5. Iowa State -2. Xavier Henderson receiving yards over 54.5. Brendan Sorsby passing yards over 257.5. And Jack Beck receiving yards over 77.5. Absolutely looking at Josh Hoover passing yards over 310. Looking and hoping for a better value than -125.
Man, I love it. We got a couple coming in. Our guy Oldie, and shout out to my dude Oldie, man. That's a real one right there in the chat. He said Marshall. Any thoughts there? I didn't look at that game, if I'm going to be completely honest, so I got nothing for you.
Yeah, I think that Marshall's definitely the side on that. If you're looking at Southern Mississippi, they're bad. They are really bad. So, Marshall would be the side. I wouldn't want to do anything with Southern Miss. I think Marshall team total over because I think they're going to score probably 35 plus points. But Southern Miss does go at a very, very slow pace. Marshall team total.
Marshall team total. Boise State. Any thoughts with Boise State? What are they? 24-point favorite here?
Yeah, that's a lot. It's essentially does Boise want to showcase Ashton Genty here against a Nevada team that has been absolutely atrocious? I think the line is right where it needs to be. I think 24 points is probably accurate. You look at Nevada, and Nevada against the rush has been poor. Defensive success rate 120th in the country, 86th in the country in EPA. 106th in EPA per rush. Ashton Genty should be able to clear 200 yards. Maybe go ahead and get a Genty rushing prop because they are absolutely going to be trying to get Genty to the Heisman podium. And this is one of those games where they can really showcase him.
There you go. I think that was it on questions. Let me see if anybody else dropped in here today. Nuke Worker asked about the live stream. Nuke, I asked if we could do the Georgia Ole Miss game. I think the UFC might be going on. And on that note, guys, go to pubsportsradio.com. Okay. And if you haven't been there, even if you're not doing the UFC thing, go there and check it out. All of our bets are right there. Anybody that posts bets, we put them there so that you got them all in one place. Easy to see. We track it. We track records over the past 30 days. So not only do you see bets, you see people's records over 30 days. It's pretty dope. Shout out to our guy Swig. And then the UFC right there. All you got to do is hit competitions on pubsportsradio.com and sign up. It's completely free. and the winner gets $100. We do it every single week. We give away $100 to the winner every week, and it's free. All you got to do to get into it is go to pubsportsradio.com and sign up. So Nuke, I'm not sure. I'm going to call Jimmy or text Jimmy after this, and Slaughter, see what we got going. But we're not going to do an 11 o'clock game right after this. Just rolls in too quick. So it might be one of the later ones. That's about that, man. My dude, why not live stream? Well, I don't know what time the Miami game is. We'll have to see. A lot of people asking about the live stream. So like I said, I'll tweet it out as soon as I know. Going right after this show, though, and somebody said something about Texas, Florida. I don't know about you guys, but after 2 hours plus being here, doing this, breaking it down, I'm not jumping right back on to do Texas, Florida. I got to get bets in. I got to get fucking going. Ole Miss, Georgia. Now we'll have a time with that. LSU, Alabama. We'll have a time with that, right? Just not Florida. Not right after this. Thank you guys in the chat. Moose, you got anything you want to share with them before we wrap this up and get out of here?
Yeah, as I always kind of end the show, if you are interested in the Moose Dive, please go ahead and DM me. If you have some time now, go ahead and drop your email in the comments. I will add you to the Moose Dive. Went really in depth on a lot of games. Some of you might not exactly enjoy some of the sides that I ended up on, specifically Virginia Tech and Ole Miss. But I do a very, very in-depth, thorough research on it. Sources: Phil Steele, College Football Insiders, and some of the stats from Yahoo Sports, and I believe there's one other one in there that I'm not coming off the top of my head, but I have multiple sources I use, and it's all in one document, and it goes through the games that I highlight at the beginning of the week on X.
I mean, I don't know what you guys are doing if you're not getting it. Just give Moose your email and get it for free. It's that easy. There are a lot of places that sell shit, and you don't get as much information and as good analysis as you're getting, even when you pay for it. Here at Pub Sports Radio, we give it all away for free. One thing we do like, we like the members, we like the donations, we appreciate you guys. You keep the channel rolling. So anybody who's been in here week in and week out with us, if you're not a member, think about getting a membership. It's easy, it's cheap. You just hit the join button, and it shows that you support what we're doing. You support the movement, the wave. Let's get fucking paid, Moose. Let's get out of here, man. Shout out to you guys in the chat. My dude, Wager Detective, says LSU is going to beat Bama. Okay. Dat fan, good to see you. Nunya, Nuke Worker, Kirk Gray. Thank you guys, man. We don't have anything without you. I love doing this with you guys. And we got 4 more weeks to get paid. So let's do just that, Moose. We're out.